Oh, wait a second. The intro. We are back. Now it works. Welcome everyone, glad to see you on the stream. Hi. Sorry for the delay once again. So today we are going. It will be kind of a Zetadon stream. I will sample all of my paints, and I will put a marker on top so I will be able to see how it works. So let me first of all open some background music. So I would be able to, I would have to do this in silence, in an awkward one. Music, rock, sad. No, I don't want the sad one. Genre, jazz and blues, R&B and soul. Let's do this one. So we're going to do. Ah, no, hold on, whoa. I have a dedicated track. Where is it? Подлая музыка, где? Where's my track? Подлая музыка. Где же она? Oh. Can you hear it? Yeah, nice, great. So let me switch. Where is it? Here. So, this is today's stream sponsor. Not actually a sponsor, but I need to open it first. So what am I going to do today? At first, I'm going to open my can. I have lots of paint. 1, 2, 3, if it fits somewhere. Weird flex, but okay, you can say. Anyways, so I have these things, and sometimes it's very hard to tell which color is inside. Hi, killer. Hello. So, for example, can you see it? What are the difference between these two colors? From the distance, and if your light is not super light, for example, this, and for example, not you. There's supposed to be a black one. I see the black one. Now, Noel. Or, for example, I had a black contrast. Where is it? Don't see it anywhere. Ah, wait a second. This is black. So we have two dark shades, and we don't. Honestly, so one is blue, one is brown, and it's not super obvious what is where. So what I'm going to do, I bought a lot of caps for my paints. They fit specifically the Citadel paints. You can put it on top. It will click in, and we will paint every one of them with the paint that's located inside. So it'll be every pot will have the dedicated sample on top, and if the pot is dry, for example, this one I cannot properly close it, or even this one, like I need to clean it. So if the paint dries, I can replace the sample on the new pot. Okay, so I have a lot of them. I am not sure if can I put them somewhere like so they won't be rolling around? I don't know. So I bought plenty of them. So as you can see, I primed them. So the top is the bony color, the bottom is just white. Привет, Тама, здорово, спасибо за пад. Hi, Michael. Welcome. So yeah, these are the samples. They're 3D printed. I bought them off 3D printing store. I don't know if there will be enough. I did not count them. I assume this is 50. XCOM. Ой, блин, сейчас. Спасибо. Сейчас. Момент. Они на мерзком пакете. Я их грунтовала на пакете на бумажном, чтобы они не засрали мне все. И тут очень мерзкий на ощупь. Let me change the category. Where is it? It should not be XCOM. It should be... How did I call my stream on YouTube? Up. Cover should also be here. Warhammer Handcam goes away. VTubers goes away. Okay, and this will be art? I don't know. Warhammer? Let's leech off the Warhammer category. Warhammer. Ready. Should be working by this time, by now. And I also have the, I also have water, I also have the paper towel, and I also have the brush that's not... Which one do I use? I don't really know. This is a thin one. I don't want to... Oh! This one is big enough. It's shade M. So probably would fit nicely. Your hands like you match your skin? Of course, because these are my hands and my face. They're like on the same... Not dog, but I know person. Alright, so we will start from, I think, the most interesting category, contrasts. Because for them, it's not super obvious what color is inside. Here you can pretty much guess how it will go, but not for the rest. And this is also interesting because these are the technical colors. Some of them have nice... Yes. I don't know how will I later sort them. Мистер Дэйл Пенгвин, 100 битов, налоги. Спасибо большое за донат. Спасибо. So, let's start with the shades, I think. So this will be the first one, the legendary Null Oil. I think I took everything out of my paint box. So the issue is we need to shake them, and none of them, not every one of them is closing or able to close properly. Let me close my Twitch stream. Why do you see my own Twitch stream? Я тебе сказала привет, Дэйл Пингвин? Если нет, то привет. Я зачитала донат, но не сказала привет. So as you can see the color difference. So this is yellowish, this is primed. And this guy, I think I will put him away. Здорово, Ваня, привет. And we'll start. So this will be the null oil. And I will just brush away the cat's fur. Just dip it inside. It will be like this. Like, whoa. I'm not sure if I really need to... I need to move this here. It's very comfortable with my left hand. Because I need to put it on the So let's cover it in one layer. I don't know if this will work. Maybe this brush is a little bit too small. I need to see if I have something bigger, because this doesn't look super good, to be honest. But we'll see. Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah, oh, like that. Does this look like a shade? I don't know. Might be. Do I have a bigger brush? I have a dry brush that won't work. Probably I have some grass that I will throw on the side of the table. I think that's my biggest brush, unfortunately. So we will have to close this one. Put it over here, so we will not forget what happened here. Next, another one, the brown. I really like to use it here. Is that the same one? Is this your silver? So, здорово, Дор. Ты сколько воду выпьешь? Я только один раз мне в нем макнула кисточку. Ну, не знаю. Тут Warhammer только краски, это Warhammer краски. Мы сосем у Warhammer аудиторию. То, что мы сэмплим вархаммерские краски. Секунд за 5? Привет, Соколос. Я что-то не это самое. So, another one. Agrex Earth shade. Another shade that's browner. Brownish. Let me dip my brush. Pew, 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 pew. Pew, pew, pew. The first one is kind of a blue one. This one is a browner. So we will do it like that. And wait until everything dries properly. Oh. Can you see what I do? I don't know. So I was thinking to do this. I got these things for a couple of days and I was really thinking to sample them. I decided to do it with you, otherwise I will never finish it. So you will be my hostages today. This is the brown color. And my hand is already sticky with some. Why is it sticky? Come on. All right. All right. So next one. Brown. Brown 1 and brown 2. I think I opened it. Yes, I opened them both, unfortunately. Воды много, так это специально, чтобы типа в щели заливалось, было тени делать. Ambient occlusion. I think I will just... So this is the toast. So this pot fell down like 10 times on my table. So I will probably sample the newer one that is fuller and stick it on it. So this one is even browner. So we have like 10 shades of the same color. Что за соски? Это кристаллики. Видишь, они типа разные формы и текстуры, чтобы было видно, как цвет ложится на них. Чтобы понять, что за жижа. Там были со скелетами, но они были дороже, поэтому я что-то пожадничала. Здорово, Райка. Пак. Раз. Да. Питпуль. So this will be... look like that. I'm like... putting that in all these recesses. Здорово, Рандам. Привет. Alchemy Queen. Hello. I love your art so much, I'm just painting the circle points or whatever is it. Let me cover the... Do the rimming part also. Как дела? Малюю. Мощнейше. So, we have 3 colors now. 3. What else do I have? I have this brown. It's like greener. It takes, by the way, longer than I would expect it to take. So it's mortary on grime. It's supposed to be a Nurglish green, I guess. But I used it for I don't remember what, to be honest. I think for the white shading or for the bones, something like that. Or maybe not this one. I don't remember, to be honest. So this is like a green color. Very, very thin one. So you can create ambient occlusion on your lighter models. But that also works for the bones. So you can add a little bit of brown and see, okay, you see this bone. Up. Dig. Up. Strong 0. All right, the next one. I think across the greenish. So we'll do the green, green, this, then yellow, then orange, then purple, and then blue. Oh, wait a second. Wait. That'll be. So we'll do, I think, like the warm ones, and then go to the blue ones. Yeah, we'll do it like this. Nice. Thank you for the follow back, okay, McCrimson. Welcome back. Your absence didn't last for too long. I'll have to go. See you. Bye. Thank you so much for joining, Michael. See you. So let's sample. I think I will sample now the orange color. So we'll go with this too. Oh, the green. No, better the green. Which one is browner? I don't really know. I think this one. I got it for free somewhere. I never used it actually because I didn't really buy it for some specific purpose. So we can just the first grand opening, Crow Green. So it's, I think, for the lizards. So where? It's kind of a swampy color. I'm seeing it for the first time. We need to count, by the way. I will later rename stream like labeling all of my 2 million Citadel paint pots. I also have like 3 or 4 army painters. Or no, Vallejo? I don't remember. They are kind of rare guests. Oh. What art supplies would you recommend? For the miniatures, I'd say it's very limited range of companies that do this stuff. So that's a hard question to answer, to be honest. Let me do it like this. The rimming part. There is a painter, YouTuber, he has t-shirts like I like edging and I like rimming in regards of miniatures painting. Okay, so this will be like that. Next, green, another green. This will be Votan green. I'm not sure what's Votan. I guess it might be something related to Eldar, how to say Eldar, Sildari, but I'm not so sure. If anyone knows, let me know. I don't remember if there are any green of them, to be honest. Yeah, that's a dark one. It's not like a, so maybe. I honestly prefer this one more because it's browner, swampier, and this one looks like I don't know what. Something more magical. Not something you meet in real life. Not dirty enough. to be in real life. Maybe something tropical, I don't know. This is the hard... Like, the sides of this thing, they are hard to reach, so I need to spin it and rotate it in my hands every time. So to be clear, today's stream will be pretty short. So once I mark all of them, or at least all the contrasts, will be done. Because I need to take a shower. That's a hard thing. Does this work? I guess so. Up. Up. Oh no! You okay, dude? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? After that, I will need to decide in which order do I put them into the palette. Because it's really hard, because when you have rainbow colors, you put them in the rainbow order. But if you have browns, greens, blacks, whatever, it's very hard to assign them a rainbow department. Сеструху с Пустора Преображенского, тут такая Преображенская, бла-бла-бла-бла. Strong Zero. Strikes back. Я не знаю, кто такая Преображенская. Хорошо, что я не знаю. Почему вообще ты с сестрой живешь? По Гребишской, может быть? Я тоже на нее подписан, у нее там всякие эти самые истории True Crime. Ну, типа, у нее бывают странные видосы, типа, как там был какой-то про мальчику Вангу, блядь, еще что-то, но ее вроде зачморили за эту хуйню, и она теперь только про такое, про жизнь снимает. Там у нее по четвергам выходит новый видос. Там вот вчера что-то вышло, но я пока не смотрел, потому что я обычно смотрю, когда крашу, а я сейчас книжку слушаю про Эйзенхорна. И, короче, блядь, я уже всю эту часть слушал, но... Ну, типа, я первый, там, не знаю, половину книжки прочла, я просто переслушиваю по кругу, и мне скучно. Потому что пока и негде жить. Пиздец. Мне кажется, тебя кукают на жилплощадь. Так. Is there any difference between these two? On the camera, yes. In real life, not really. I think I need to add a little bit, like a second layer here, might be. Ай, блядь, телефон пойдет. Батина хата, брос, сними квартиру. Let me shake! Шики, 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 шики. У нее еще бывает иногда, типа, она берет интервью у кого-то, и оно супер однобокое. Типа, там, вот, моя сыночка, корзиночка, там, то ничего не сделала, хотя явно, что, ну, типа, не все так однозначно. Вот, но... Ну, это у некоторых только видос, не у всех. Типа, там есть видос, где какого-то чела, короче, в лесу закопали или что-то такое. И это произошло после того, как он начал делать бизнес на чем-то не озвученном. Ну, короче, судя по всему, он закладчиком был. Вот, ну, как бы... Не знаю, мне кажется, это важная часть истории. Что не то, что он такой весь замечательный. Ну, типа, это плохо, что его убили, но это добавляет как контекста немножко, понимания происходящего. Вот, продолжаем. Alright, this is paint movements. This side. We'll start with the orange one. Fuigan orange. I don't know what's Fuigan. Hi, Elmer. Hello. Welcome to the stream. I have no idea what's Fuigan. So we'll just sample it. Whatever. Dick. I shook it. Shook it. I don't know how to say this. And we'll sample it. Up. Dick. So I've previously seen this type of caps for, I think, Vallejo paints or the army painter. I don't know. So they have a cap that's like with a tippy top. And it's very convenient to put something on top. And for Citadel, it's not like this because they're round. But apparently there's still a way to attach it. I was also thinking to buy the duct tape, like two-sided duct tape today. But I forgot, honestly. I needed to buy some cat food and I forgot. So the thing is, apparently there is some delivery workers strike or something. And because of that, the parcels are being delayed. And my cat food parcel is delayed by almost a week at this point. So I had to go to she eats special food for senior cats with urinal problems. So I had to go to the grocery store and buy some generic generic cat food. And give her in a very, it's dry, so I give it to her in very, very small batches. Otherwise, she will get overexcited, eat too much, and puke right away. Здорово, Макс, привет. Guten Abend. Oh. That honestly doesn't feel fit anywhere. This place, so we'll just leave it as it. Beam, beam. Bam, bam, bam. I think on this one, I will just wear on. You don't see it on this one. It's almost empty. I will just wear an empty one for the reference. So I will see what is the difference. This is called Cassandra. Yeah, shade. This is called Cassandra Yellow. I also have no idea who's Cassandra. Why is she yellow? But I will hope that everything is alright with her. That's a bold wish in the Warhammer universe. I think no one is no one is fine here. But as I like yellow, I will hope that Cassandra is alright. Краска не сильно пахнет? Нет, она вообще не пахнет. Ну, это же акриловая, она такая. Воняет, когда из аэрозоля я их грунтовала. Там, потому что из баллона вот этим вот химозным, короче, запахом краски. Ну, мне нравится, как пахнет. Вот, но именно акриловая из баночки, мне кажется, почти не пахнет. Pepeg Senior followed. Thank you. Welcome to the channel. Hello. I think I need to add more. Not too much. So this paint I think I used when I was painting my vampire. That's Vampire Lord. I was painting like myself with yellow hair, pink outfits. And I initially used the super light yellow color and then tried to tone it down because that was really, really super bright. Like unnaturally thick. I hate that there is apparently a bubble, but I will leave it as is. For historical reasons. So yeah, now we have a yellow one. It's way more clear now because I previously was thinking, if you can take a look. So this one is yellow and this one is orange. This came from the same pot. And these two, so this is orange, this is yellow. See the difference? I would probably, if I didn't know, I would put them vice versa. So this like here and this like here, but it's actually not like that. So that's very confusing. That's why I want to sample them. Yeah. I also threw away one color that was the red one because it spilled all across the box and got almost dry, so I had to just throw everything away in disgust. No, that's not a paint, that's some pieces of dry paint. This one is pretty dark, but I like it nevertheless. Maybe I also need some red or more reddish shade, because this one is purple, but it's still kind of bluish purple. I don't know, cherry one, but not in the brown cherry way. So I bought my second shade once I realized. So I was painting all of my miniatures with a brown shade. And all of them turned out to look super dirty. I was like, what the hell? Why are all of my miniatures look all the same and all dirty? I was like, what's the issue? And then I figured out, if you dip everything in brown, everything will look like it's brown. So please take that doggo wisdom, don't do that. So that's our shades. Now I have contrasts. Do we put them on top? I don't know. Can. Or not yet, I think. I will just leave it as is for now. And go for the second row. And just attach the white. I will attach the white one over here. It's like... Come on. Ooh, I can attach it. Is it because of primer? Or what? Did I ruin everything? I probably needed the double-sided tape. Oh, shit! It didn't work. Oh, no, it worked. Cool. See? Beautiful. The sample, I'll put it over here so you can see it. Next, go with the contrasts. So contrasts are thicker. So we have this, and this, and this, and this, and this is brown, this is blue, and this is gray. So gray color is kind of a hard one. So it has this, I think blue, the same. They have this whitish part. And it's very hard to shake it from the bottom of this thing. So I'm trying my best, but I don't know if this will work. Maybe I need, you know, this shaking boot that like it shakes it instead of you. I'm shaky, 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 shaky. Shaky, 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 shaky. Did this work? No. This one worked a little bit. This one not. Hello, open up. Let's shake it on the side. Мне кажется, акриловая краска вообще не пахнет почти. Типа, если зайти в магаз с краской, там есть какой-то запах, но мне кажется, это скорее из-за того, что там грунтуют рядом. Типа запах именно из баллона. Блять, у меня рука. My head is stuck. Oh, see. Great. Shaky, 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 shaky. This, let's do it like also for that. Shaky, 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 shaky. Can I hear the ASMR? Покупатели они воняют не краской. Нет, они могут вонять разве что ацетоном, но, к счастью, нет. Там я была в дальнем магазине, короче, ездила на другой конец города, и там был какой-то слоган у них, что-то «Почувствуй запах победы» или что-то такое, «Почувствуй запах игры». Я думаю, блядь, чуваки, может, не надо, пожалуйста. Я бы не хотела. Так воняют все. Возможно, это и есть запах победы, не знаю. Tick. So, I'm prepared. So this is the grayish. I use it for the bones because it's gray. I think it's supposed to be used for different ghosts and stuff like that. Русским духа нет, это не от меня, к счастью. Я пахну или ничем, или духами, но я стараюсь душиться так, чтобы не вонять издалека. Потому что я, во-первых, сама это чувствую все время. Мне нравится, я устаю. Во-вторых, я не хочу душить окружающих в замкнутом помещении. See, it's very, very light. Almost transparent. Honestly, it would be great to sample it on some non-white color, but I don't think we have enough space for that. So that's great. Let's paint the sides. Edging. Podle музыка 10 часов. So that's it. This one is called Soul Blight Gray. So for the ghost, and the only one that's properly that is able to be properly closed. So this one is kind of interesting. So it's called Garagag Sewer. Guess it's a rat. I don't know, but I always imagine some kind of orc. When I look at this one, I for some reason imagine some orcish structure. But if it's a sewer, I think that's a rat maybe or something. I don't know. So this one, it looks like it's black, but actually it's orange, brownish, I think. At least it was on the samples from the internet. Let me try. No, it's very dark. So on the samples, it was black in the like in the inside and orange outside. See, it's like a little bit. It's getting browner. But I'm very impatient, so I usually slap a shitload amount of shade on top, and it's almost completely dark every time. Maybe I needed to do it in a TikTok format. So like I record shitload of TikToks. I've seen a YouTuber doing this. So they sample everything in such manner. I hope you did not hear that. I actually accidentally hit the microphone. I painted this one. So as you see, it's black inside, but brown outside. It's kind of, I don't know, shitty color. I like it. I like brown. So we will leave it as is. Up. And also close it, and it is not closing properly anymore. And I think I will be out of these things by the end of second, probably. Second palette, but if not, I will just take the most transparent colors, because if it's yellow, it's obviously yellow. So you have kind of expectation what color would it be, unlike the transparent ones. So this one is called Bal Red. So I guess it's corn-ish, dude, and it's really red, as you might expect it to be. It's really thick, so it's a thick red, and I like it, to be honest, because I previously was using another red that's not opaque. Да, вот видишь, вот, блядь, вот на эту банку она надевается, на пипку на банке сверху. Типа на разные фирмы красок есть разные 3D эти там. У нее внизу просто типа ребрышко такое. Он надеялся хорошо. Ты уже говорю, ну типа вот из этого предположить, что будет коричневый цвет, я не могу в жизни. Это какая-то хуйта. Can I add some water? I don't know. Okay, so I'm adding Wasser. Actually, if I add some water, it looks way better. Like thinning my paint and all of this, but I'm not doing that. Or will I? I don't know. I will probably leave it as is. Because thinning is for the weak. Oh. So Bal Red is kind of a bloody, I don't know, super duper. red color. So I think at this point I need to collect my shades all together. My hand is already colored in shit. This, so black. Oh, it's sticky. Oh no. Okay, it's still sticky. Don't worry. I have no idea what to do. So this, then this. Oh! Oh no, it's I ruined it. Блять, я испачкала. Блять, у меня руки все в красном! Как срать? Сейчас смажу. Is it? It's not... О, щелкнулся. Где-то тоже щелкнулся. Brown. Which parts of my head are not red? The side ones, I guess. Оп. Да они какие-то хорошо вщелкиваются, какие-то говно. Thick. I think this purple, I'll put it with the blue ones. Like, should it be here? I don't know. The green. Putting it here. Another green. Also putting it here. This one fits nicely. Also putting it on top. Up. Yeah, that's a blue one. Up. Maybe it belongs to this side, I don't know. Then I will put this orange. Yeah, that's orange. Probably here, it's close to brown. The yellow one, I will put it closer to light green. Not here. And you, the purple goes over here because I don't have any more space for this. And you go here. Because you're an ugly sibling. Краска высыхает? Не знаю, что тебе предложить. Не суши ее. Кисточка. Can I do? Типа ты же можешь дуть, наверное, на себя, а окрасить чуть в сторону. The orange. Magma Droth Flame. Also no idea who is that. Магмадроч какой-то. If you have any idea who is that, let me know. Because I do not have. Tiniest clue. Tim. Adding orange. So if you put a contrast like in a thick layer, it will be not transparent, won't be transparent. But if I add a little bit water, it will be better or worse depending on your goal. So let's see. I will add a little bit on the, oh, no, it's not a little. A lot of it on the side. See how it goes. So the center will be covered completely and the sides will be like so-so. We'll see how it works actually in real life. Здорово, Пепе Сеньор. Почему на ВХ была безумно страсть к раскрашиванию фигурок? Потому что ВХ-ёбство — это про раскрашивание фигурок. Ну, типа, в этом суть хобби. Ты покупаешь ебенячьих человечков и красишь их. Если тебе не интересно красить ебенячьих человечков, ты не интересуешь Вархаммером. Мне кажется, одно из другого следует. И привет, я не помню, сказала или нет. Рарий. Так, ну вот, это рыженький наш. Так, желтый. Imperial Fist. This one I know. Игры лора для галочки, суть именно в фигурках. Ну, в смысле, это Wargame. Типа, Wargame — это игра, в которой ты... У тебя есть фигурка, и ты ее двигаешь по столу и толкаешься попками с другими такими же чуваками. Ну, типа, мне кажется, все в это не обязательно Warhammer, там есть что еще, дофига их. Звездные войны какие-нибудь. Там тоже челы красят фигурочки. В ДНД челы тоже приносят минки, которые сами сделали. Ну, типа, лор, мне кажется, они придумали чисто, чтобы привлекать челиков. Ты такой прочел книжку, такой, ой, ебать, хочу поиграть вот за этих челиков, идешь в магаз, там покупаешь на 100 тысяч миллионов барахла. Про челиков, которые тебе нравятся, потому что ты прочел про них книжку или там не знаю что. Ну, а так, да, мне кажется, основной заработок компании — это же фигурки. И краски к ним. Ты их красишь, покупаешь и идешь месяц по правилам. Покупаешь еще рулбук за деньги. Садить выхоебов в комнату с белыми стенами? Нет, там недостаточно дрочево, там должно быть маленькое что-нибудь. Такое прям пиписечное. Как пиписка того, кто красит. Мне кажется, ГВ приветствует, чтобы ты... Типа там есть дрочеры, которые такие, вот, actually, ты можешь играть только теми орденами, которые есть там в диплоре, ко-ко-ко. Но ГВ, мне кажется, сами активно как это самое... Не промоутят, как это по-русски. Ну, короче, поддерживают покрас всякие ёбнутые цвета, как тебе нравится больше. То, что в СНГ челы не покупают фигурки, а чисто на лор дрочат, мне кажется, на вах и доске нету ни одного треда про игру. Типа есть треды про лор, где там челы потные обсуждают, кто там кому чего. 0 тредов про АОС, 0 тредов про фэнтези, по-моему. По крайней мере, раньше было. Вот, ну, типа, это СНГ специфика, потому что фигурок не было никогда. Ну, не то, что никогда, но, типа, они достаточно дорогие. По цене фар-фигур. Ну, да. Ну, типа, здесь они тоже дорогие, но... Ну, типа, мне кажется, не настолько. Типа, тут цена на фигурку такая же, зарплата чуть повыше в среднем. Там не надо социализироваться. Ты перед раундом, короче, такой... Говоришь, я играю за, там, кровавых залуп. Чел говорит, я играю за, не знаю... Какие-нибудь огненные пиписьки. Вы жмете друг другу руки и говоришь, я хожу так-то и так-то, долблю тебя так-то, и там что-нибудь такое. Типа вы никакого смолл-толка не поддержите вообще. Чисто обсуждаете. Ну, просто анонсируешь свои ходы и все. Вот, и руки друг другу пожимаете там в конце потом. Ну, или там, не знаю, что еще делаете. So, the previous color was called Contrast Bedroom Yellow. So, obviously for the orcs. And this one is Striking Scorpion Green. So, this is the Eldari one. On the internet, it looked like it's glowing green, kind of Necronish. But in my experience, it's not. I don't know, maybe I also need to thin it. Зашкварили печатные... Ну, зависит. Типа, у них основное правило у ГВ, типа, главное, чтобы вы договорились, чтобы все были, типа, на одной волне, и всем было весело. Типа, если вы все играете некрашенными миньками и всем норм, то, типа, пожалуйста. Если вы хотите играть в правила какой-нибудь там древней редакции возраста твоей мамки, пожалуйста. Если ты распечатываешь миньку на 3D принтере, то, наверное, если ты ее спиздил с Литника Games, типа, если ты скопировал Games Workshop миньку, наверное, это считается как воровство. Но, и типа, это не везде, ну, не везде можно афишировать. Вот, но если ты какие-нибудь самодельные там что-нибудь придумал, то, наверное, я думаю, с таким можно даже в магаз прийти. Ну, типа, в общем и целом, как договориться, типа, если всем вокруг норм, то и пожалуйста, вперед. Типа, мне кажется, челы, которые там что-то actually делают, там очки на нос управляют, мне кажется, это чисто гейткипинг, чтобы изобразить себя не быдло. Хочешь красить, пожалуйста. Типа, на официальном уровне, я думаю, что пиздить модельки нельзя. Нравится Баски? Я не знаю, кто это. Ой. Трясу! Тряска! Пиздец! Тряска трясная! Вот, ну, короче, пиратство осуждаем максимально. Но, как обычно, главное, что если тебе было весело, то это не преступление. Главное, чтобы всем было весело и комфортно. Чтобы никто не чувствовал, что его обижают. Типа, поэтому и руки пожимают в начале и в конце, чтобы, типа, не было ощущения, что ты там продул или выиграл, и второй чел такой, типа, блять, ну ты чмо. Чтобы спортивная атмосфера была. В шахматах, мне кажется, тоже руки жмут, и в спорте тоже. Там всегда драма, что, типа, один там спортсмен отказался пожать руку другому. Там еще что-то. Скандал бесконечный. So, this one is Frostheart. I'm not sure what the Frostheart. Нетоксичная? Ну, для нетоксичной тебе надо окно открыть, чтобы все любители Warhammer, которые не мылись, чтобы они не отравляли атмосферу. В чем геймплей? У тебя, короче... Ну, грубо говоря, у тебя каждый ебенячий человечек может ходить на сколько-то в длину и на сколько-то... и сколько-то бить по силе. Ну, типа, я не знаю, как в Доте, блядь, или в Ходсе, или в Лоле. Ну и вот, тебе надо, и ты их двигаешь. Ты можешь сходить там на столько-то ходов. Или, как, не знаю, как в Циве, наверное, пошаговые бои. Типа, у тебя есть сколько-то, насколько ты можешь пройти, сколько-то очков ты можешь ударить там, и ты, короче, тебе надо придумать, как это все скомбить, чтобы разъебать оппонента и не подставиться самому. Вот, и ты можешь туда всяких красивые цвета их оформлять, там, делать какой-нибудь террейн. Вон у меня есть тут, что у меня тут есть? У меня есть гроб. Я, правда, не докрасила его, там будет, короче... Я думала сделать, чтобы из него Monster Energy лился, но я решила, что из него будет лава литься. У меня есть еще лошадь огненная, но я не докрасила тоже пока. Она такая... Ну и вроде пошага... Или как... Или, наверное, знаешь, что, как героя может быть? Во. Типа там у тебя тоже ты можешь... У тебя есть сколько-то очков действия, ты можешь походить, потом выстрелить. Или там еще что-нибудь. Как такое? Угу. Или XCOM. Короче, любая ДНД подобная хуйня. Только у тебя там может быть не один персонаж, а там отряд из 10. И если ты его продамаживаешь, то у тебя просто отряд уменьшается, как в Циве. Есть видосики, где челы рассказывают, как играть. Мне кажется, даже от Games Workshop. Это что? Black Templar. Contrast. It actually blew a little bit. Есть видосики на ютубе, по-моему, официальные. И Там... Типа, есть там, типа, чисто они за 5 минут объясняют, как там, типа, ну вот, короче, кидаешь кубики, ходишь, весело, смешно. Такое, без углубления там, в каком порядке это уходит. Какая реакция на женщин? Зависит от возраста, мне кажется, посетителей. Типа, если там какие-нибудь, не знаю, студенты, которые... Ладно, не отвечай за бань. Ну, типа, если там какие-то молодые челики, то у них иногда... Они иногда хуеют. Если челики постарше, там уже обычно уважаемые господа, которые... Ну, по крайней мере, у меня тут... Уважаемые господа, которые там после работы красят минички. Детей, блядь, приводят. Вот, им строго похуй, они готовы с тобой играть с кем угодно. Типа, тупые девки, это, мне кажется, какая-то такая чисто школьная хуйня. Взрослый человек ему уже похуй переживать. Во время катки можно ментальные атаки. Предложение использовать дезодорант? Нет, там нельзя. Там, короче, у них есть официальные правила. Я не знаю, как в 40к. В АОСе есть официальные правила в начале. Типа, первое, что там, типа, быть... Не грубить. Не жаловаться, что тебе хуйню подкрутило. Еще что-то. Короче, какие-то свод правил, которые душнило отсеивают. Сейчас я даже гляну, мне теперь интересно стало. Так, все, синенькую сделали. Оп. Я один раз играла с челом, который был пиздец какой-то кариес. Мне кажется, в последней стадии. Мне было сложно дышать, но я терпела. Сейчас. У меня на телефоне есть правила. Core concepts. Most important rule. Самое главное правило, если вы с противником не ебете, то договоритесь как-нибудь. Блин, а где же эта фигня-то была? Там прям какой-то референс. Какой-то код of conduct, что-то там было. Player's code, вот. Главное правило, будьте вежливым и относитесь с уважением. Никогда не читите, короче. Приходите вовремя. Показывайте своему противнику кубики. Не трогайте минки без разрешения. Короче, все вот эти, если ты пытаешься кому-то нагрубить, то это все в правилах указано, ничего нельзя делать. Нельзя там по времени просто ходить, нихуя не делать и тратить время противника. Что тут еще? Если чел тебя спрашивает, как твои юниты ходят, ты должен ему ответить вежливо, объяснить. Не пытаться там его попустить за счет того, что он не знает. Француз ходил на игру, у него с титанами армии, фотограф во время катки рюкзаком сделал миньку и сломал, бля. Наехал на фотографа, по итогу сам оказался на грани дисквалификации. Но он на него, наверное, наехал грубо. Типа, мне кажется... Ну, по-хорошему надо организатору сказать, что, типа, блядь, этот чел мне сломал миньку. И либо заклеить ее вместе, либо пусть, не знаю, ноутик покупает. Выходил бы, надо расписывать базу общественники. Да! How many worlds have welcome to the stream? Так, ну, мне кажется, что мы сделали. Мои руки ко мне. Ну, там просто очень разная аудитория. Типа, там есть какие-то прям деды, которые застали, там, не знаю, зарождение Вархаммера, которым уже, я не знаю, лет 50. Так, I'm putting it here. Вот, а есть какие-то вообще школьники, которые... Они вообще маленькие. Типа, я не знаю, но им лет, наверное, по 7. Они там что-то обмазывают кисточкой какие-то эти самые фигурки. Срата. Ну, и типа, я не знаю. Я не очень понимаю, как это соотносится с этим, с Deep Dark Fantasy. Ну, вроде как... Ну, типа, не знаю. Мне кажется, в СНГ все узнали из-за того, что такое ваха. 100% людей. Блин, эти два цвета очень одинаковые. Они в банке прям разные. А в жизни что-то нифига. Моя мама болезнь Паркинсон, не может рисовать. В последнее время начала рисовать. Ну, если ей нравится результат, почему нет? Самому как герой... Нет, тебе правила дают. У тебя есть, короче, общие правила. Типа, как кубики кидать, там в каком порядке. А есть конкретно для твоей армии перечень обилок на героев. Ну, не знаю, как в Total может быть еще похоже. Типа, там какие-то герои, например, они бегают далеко, но слабо бьют, и какие-то наоборот. У меня вот, например, крутые скелеты, они скачут по всей карте и нихуя не дамажат. Я не знаю, как это делать. Что с этим делать, точнее? В прошлый раз я мощно соснула. Пока что я не придумала, что с этим делать. Все. Belt. Look at this dude. Look at his hats. Amazing. I'm an artist. I'm a performance artist. Надо, может, их наоборот было развернуть. Ладно. So, that's the first one. Finished it. Let me see, what else do I have? Where is that? So, what are the options? I have the regular colors. I'm not sure if I really want to sample them, because that'll be a lot of work. That would be nice, I think, but so far I see the difference between, for example, these two, or these two, or these two. And also I have the second rack of the also regular colors, but they are like they are kind of, I don't know, earth-ish, brownish on this side. Why are they located like this? So they're supposed to be different order. I just abandoned this. It's not supposed to be like this, then this, then this, then this, then I think this. Maybe this goes here, or right here. This is here. This is maybe here, but I don't really know. This is yellow. This brown, I think probably better here. Где нужно играть настольную валку? В тейблтопе есть этот... В тейблтопе точно есть Spearhead, Age of Sigmar. Может быть, есть Combat Patrol. Но я думаю, что в тейблтоп симуляторе, скорее всего, есть. Мне, кстати, кажется, что я посмотрела. Мне кажется, что обычно AOS менее душно, чем Spearhead. Надо подумать. Так. So this, I will put it a little bit on the side, so maybe, I don't really know. Like these two colors, what is this? Green, ENvtuber darkness. So maybe on the second run, I don't know. I don't want to do this right now. Maybe I will start. I don't know. What else do I have? I also have metallics ones. Maybe we can do the metallics. We can do the special effects. Maybe wrap it up, but I don't really know. We'll see. Так, чё, вот это давайте. This. So let me... I can see what you painted. I painted these things. So what... It didn't work. So let me see. Medium, it's for watering the paints. That the varnish. That the airbrush thinner. The varnish. I think this is also the varnish. A shitload of white. You know, I can sign them. So this will be I can write the Gundam marking. Will be La Medium. Great. That's ear. Right, ear. Ear. Huh? That's art code. So let's write art. 6. That's storm shield. That's the metallic. Storm 6. This is also the white, but this one is snow. Let's write down snow. No. I don't know where to put it. Here. This is the airbrush paint. I don't know why did I buy it. But that's a purple airbrush paint, so maybe I'll use it one day. I don't know. This is the green stuff. I use it for my chibi miniatures. These are two like earth textures. I'm not also going to sample them. Maybe later, but I don't really know. This is also earth. This is mud. Let me write down so it's black or I don't know. This is the dry brush. I also got it for free. I'm not sure if I really need to sample it up. Maybe I should. I don't know. I'll leave it for now here. So basically, out of this rack, we have 2 paints. So one of them is Tesseract Glows for Necrone shiny things. Let's shake it. We need to make it an even texture. Тряска! Тряска, тряска, тряска. Let's shake it in another direction. Vertically, 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 vertically. Still green, still too layered. Let me sip, speed it up. Ну и вот, короче, если ты играешь в Ваху с корешем, который на том же уровне знаний Вахи, что и ты, то можете просто забить на часть правил и играть, как играется. Если... Вот, еще я не знаю, как где, но в WoW-магазах можно, типа, на тестовую игру прийти, рассказать, типа, дяденька, покажите мне, как катать. Или тетенька, кстати. Я видел тетеньку, там она очень милая была. 2 тетенек даже. I'm tired of shaking! Oh, I need the shaker machine. Let me write down so this is the green stuff. Green. Gundam marker best. This is the cool one if you, for example, have some dark shield. So I use it for the red shield. So if you have a dark shield, you draw something white on top, and then put this color, and it's like really shiny, cool. Because it's transparent. Really enjoy that one. I'm tired of shaking, so not giving up. Shake it, 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 shake it. Not doing this anymore. Well, my brush. Shush. So this thing, another one. No. So this is supposed to be pretty close to the green one we used before, but I like it more because it's kind of, I don't know, more saladish, greenish, froggish. I don't know how to to describe that? Eerie green glow. Very sus, definitely. More. Up. Almost done. What was it called? I'm already bored of that. But thankfully, I don't have much more colors. I was thinking to sample the metallic ones because these two, for example, are kind of the same. But it would be nice to have them in front of my eyes. But I don't know yet. So yeah, this is the green one. That's correct. And let me compare it with the previous green. So this green looks a little bit darker, less froggish. Just like if you mix this one with the blue shade, it will give you this one. So my favorite is this. Разных вселенных, разные фандомы. Мне кажется, большинство людей играет в космическую ваху. Абсолютное большинство. И часть из них играет еще в фэнтези ваху. Но у фэнтези вахи, мне кажется, меньше размер. Там меньше дрочки с кубами. У меня поэтому много фэнтези. Но, в общем и целом, мне кажется, у фэнтези вахи фандом особо не знаю. Только за счет татуаров. Мне кажется, его нет. Там какой-то лор есть, но мне кажется, всем похуй поебать на него. В основном народ книжки читает по космической вахе. Так. Эта штука, это типа этот окись. Она должна быть такая уродливенькая немножечко. Она плохо растекается. Но мне кажется, отношение тех, кто дрочит на ваху, и тех, кто реально играет в ваху, типа там 1 к 0. К 1. Ну, короче, этот будет типа, я не буду его докрашивать, он типа... А я его потрясла или нет? Сейчас я трясла, не трясла. Короче, это типа... Окись, я не буду ее сильно развозюкивать. Окись. Оп, сам красивый. Так, давайте блюсточки размажем. Это dry. Хотя ладно, давайте размажем. Он двигаться не будет. Ну да, так в этом же прикол, ты типа просто добавляешь новую войну, там каких-то осад Кадии, что-то 13, что ли? А, крестовых походов, блядь, я не помню. Короче, там чего-то там 13 штук. Ты просто, когда тебе надо новую книжку сделать, ты просто говоришь там осада, номер, там 100-500. Nice. Так, VTuber armor, the best gold done paint. I almost spelled it. That's alright. Do it. A little bit of water. A little bit of water on my paint. Da 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 da. Water, what are you? Put your loving hand out, water. So this will be the gold color. Does it look like gold? I think so. So I finished the gold color. Ходипал, так это они сейчас ее ряснут еще. Скажут, вот там типа кто-нибудь пробрался в какой-нибудь там веб-вей, очко в очке кого-нибудь там. И, короче, на самом деле у Кади был бэкап, и сейчас типа все на самом деле хорошо. Типа они тоже с фигню с аосом сделали. У них раньше был мир, как в Total War. Типа там, ну как земля. И там типа особо не было места, чтобы придумать всякую новую фигню, потому что все было занято. А сейчас они сделали какой-то... Какие-то параллельные миры, блядь, какие-то планеты, что-то еще. И там просто ты можешь... Если тебе надо... Если тебе надо, ты просто придумываешь новое чего-нибудь. И говоришь, ну вот этот мир, он параллельный к ним всем, и типа ничего не противоречит. Все супер. Все, найс. Есть хочу. Я сегодня... У нас, короче, в Макдаке какие-то японские боргены. Какие-то еще английские. Какие-то... Короче, куча новых боргенов. Вот, я хочу попробовать. Там какое-то китайское мороженое с бабл-шариками, ананасовый пирожок из Таиланда. Короче, там куча всякой фигни. Катили обычно ваху, в смысле, катили? Фэнтези ваха у них есть сейчас. Ну, типа, минки по ней есть. Я все жду, пока сделаю снегуру. Я не помню, я по-моему, говорил уже, нет? Они в какой-то момент, там челики копят, короче. Типа, они сказали, что... У них спросили, когда будет Катай и когда будет Кислев. Чтобы там славяночку делать. И им сказали, типа, ну, в ближайшем обозримом будущем не планируется. Вот, а тут они бэк выпускают Китай. Все такие, ну все, сейчас, короче, будет Кислев. И все, короче, ждут. Вот, короче, пока смотрим, будет ли Сасамба. Чуть я их разбавила, они какие-то стали не блестящие, кажется. Не нарядно. Gold. В Кислеве, по крайней мере, в Total War они хорошо... У девок костюм мне понравился, как сделаны. Типа они... Ну, они... Ладно, они немножко с клюквой, но они миленькие. Типа они... Мне показалось, что они сделаны с вниманием к деталям. Типа, у них там какие-то кокошники, но они такие приличные. Полная музыка, 10 часов. Так, сейчас либератора мы почти докрасили. Как в Володах? Я не играла как в Володы. У меня только там брат 100-500 юродный познакомился с Милфой, с женой. И они женились, и у них все хорошо. Типа он познакомился с взрослой теткой, которая его там в 2 раза старше. Все таки вот, кошмар, это ничем хорошим не кончилось, но это кончилось хорошо. Все таки ебать, так бывает. Типа они поженились и счастливы. Концентрация женщин? Ну, где я ходила, там играет, по-моему, одна, кроме меня. Красит еще 2, как минимум. Но, типа, мужиков абсолютно большинство. Ну, типа, я не знаю, какая тебе в целом разница концентрации женщин. Типа, если ты девка, то ты просто включаешь сильно ауру и идешь туда на похуй. Ну, это, конечно, это на самом деле не всегда приятно, потому что бывает, если ты там, например... Типа, у меня было достаточно много опыта с челиками, которые не очень были готовы. У них был майндсет, типа, тупые девки. Вот, но ты просто говоришь, ладно, все, идите нахуй, и идешь в другое место, где не хейтят девок. Экспериментать не знаю, он какой-то, типа... Ну, проблема может быть в Warhammer еще в том, что там нет девок на персонажах. Там, типа, я не знаю, в 40к там есть орден секси-монашек, типа, блядь, все. Типа, все крутые спейс-марины, которые раздают всем пиздов. Во всех книжках они... Ну, типа, все мужики какие-то, не знаю. Как же хорошо, что добавляют девок в студисов и спейс-маринов. Бля. Какой же кайф. Свои сестры битвы где? У кого? Так, ну, типа какой-то коричневый. Фэнтези Battles. Фэнтези Battles это этот Total War. Мне кажется, Total War такой. Там есть эльфы с сиськами. Ну, собственно, Кислив, там девки. Но там в Кисливе такие юниты есть. Что еще? Мне кажется, там нету чисто такой фракции кумерской. Спасибо, что послушали мой TED Talk. What you drink is double lemon minus 196. It's strong. The meme thing that's called strong zero in Japan. We're going full Japan today. This one, it seems to be more and better. So do you see the difference between these two? Honestly, not really. So we have this. I've tried this strong zero thing. We have lemon and grapefruit, I think. Cocktail Japan, that. Lemon and grapefruit. I think there is peach one exists somewhere. I've seen it on the website, but I haven't seen it in real life. Maybe I need to check some, I don't know, Asian store or something. Because, I don't know, this one has a lot of Japanese text on it, but it says the production company is from Spain or Italy or something. Spain, yes, Madrid. So I'm not really sure it's... they sell stuff in Asian markets, supermarkets. I'm almost done with this one. Но меня, кстати, не развело почти. 100% женщин готова трогать. Достаточно? Ну... Слушай, создание лора бесплатно. Типа, они же уже сейчас, они там... Они привлекают какое-то ебическое количество детей. У них есть продавцы, девки на продавцах. Ну, типа, если игра не будет выглядеть как супер враждебная к девкам, какой она выглядела для меня в какой-то момент, именно приходить в жизни, то народ подтянется. Типа, у меня есть знакомая девка, которая... У нее есть армия, но она, типа, колеблется. Играть или не играть. Типа, если ты не будешь их шугать, то они к тебе придут. В магазе, кстати, еще много маленьких девочек. Прям реально маленьких, я не знаю, она прям вообще вот такая. И подруг приводит, типа, их, я не знаю, их штук 5, мне кажется, они просто ходят толпой и красят каких-то ебящих человечков. Что-то у меня дикция немножко охуела. Ну, типа, тебе не надо делать фигурки для девок. Тебе надо просто делать фигурки, которые не кумерские. Будет нормально все. Некоторые майндсет, надо просто их уметь доджить их подкаты. Когда видишь, что у чела слюни текут, сразу надо ему говорить, что типа... Там, не знаю... Напиздеть что-нибудь. А вот у меня парень боксер или еще что-нибудь такое, они сразу такие пон. К боксерам не подходим. Какую-нибудь охуительную историю спиздануть, чтобы он в тебя не подкатывал, а просто дружил с тобой. Ну, типа, ты ему не угрожаешь, ну ты так, типа, намекаешь. И в принципе, если ты сразу отрезаешь возможности подкатов, то они не начинаются там нытьё про френдзону, про всякое такое. Типа, ты можешь с ним нормально общаться. Не перестают тебя видеть объект для не кума, я не знаю, как сказать. Ну, типа, они все еще петушатся на перегонки перед тобой, но это все равно лучше гораздо, чем если бы они все подкатывали. Был бы синдром девки. Полифром. Мой парень Space Marine твоему боксеру наваляет? Ну, типа. Про двоих детей? Ну, тоже можно. А может, он такой, наоборот, типа, ах, я так люблю милф! Такой, ух, бля. И все, не отделаешься с ним больше. Похоже на металл. Карп икру металл? Металл! Кстати, хочу. Если таки не поет намек, это да. Прям было несколько хороших знакомых, которые, типа, мы нормально общались, потом он хуяк подкатывает, и такой, типа, бля, бро. Не. И он все обижается на тебя до конца жизни, и больше никогда ничего не подходит, не пишет, ничего. Хотя до этого нормально общались, типа, как бро. Ничего не предвещало беды. В другом похожей ситуации работал модель для журнала одежды. На улице к нему средний двора дети подходили знакомиться. Типа девки подходили знакомиться или другие мужики? Мне кажется, девки очень редко подходят знакомиться сами. Ну, типа, это социально, типа, как не очень принято. Типа, если мужики подходят знакомиться, я могу предположить. Попкорн в глазах. Все может быть. Как общались вместе. Ну, типа, блядь, ну да, но мне кажется, если тебе отказали, ты такой, ну ладно, типа, хуй делать. Нет, так нет, давай общаться дальше. А такие челы обычно обижаются просто до конца жизни. Friendship ended. Ну, хотя, типа, ты ему ничего не должна. Но он почему-то считает, что должна. И переубедить это очень сложно. Sign off for this. See you. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for joining Alchemy Crimson. Thank you. Девки, ну это... Мне кажется, он тебе пиздит. Мне кажется, он любитель припизнуть. Как тебе такая версия? Ну, либо он, не знаю, там... Что-то делал для этого намеренно. Не потому что должна, а потому что цель изначально была подкатить не дружить. Может быть. Ну, не знаю, это грустно, когда, типа, вы нормально общаетесь, и потом, типа, раз, теряешь друга, потому что чел, блядь, подкатить хотел, и отказ не принял. Вот какой-то рофл. Поэтому надо до начала, короче, говорить, типа, у меня там парень, не знаю, там, боксер, ММА, там еще, короче, Супермен, кто угодно. Два чешских майндсета, а какие ты думаешь еще челики в задротском сообществе? Мастер скусел? Блин, а ты так говоришь, типа, ну вот я на его фоне выглядел сратеньким, а потом его пускаешь, как будто типа, ты ему завидовал или чё? Типа ты говоришь, что он хороший друг, но потом все равно не вворачиваешь, что он скуфнулся и что он не такой красивый сейчас уже. Ухо сломать, говорит, что Вов боксер. Они скорее подумают, что он тебя пиздит. Что он тебе пиздов дал, поэтому у тебя ухо сломано. Позвонят в милицию. Полицию. Полиция. Я до сих пор не понимаю ребрендинг милиции в полицию. Что это дало? Может, как в Германии кричали «Полицай!» Если вы с парнем оба боксер, тогда челы будут говорить, пожалуйста, отпизди меня там. Дай мне пиздов, наступи на меня, что-нибудь такое. Все. Покрасили. Я не знаю, кстати, чем... Типа, милиция же, это латинское слово, полиция, наверное, тоже. Чем разница? Заявил не, одна работала 2 раза в жизни больше меня, хоть выглядит хорошо, желание жить было бы мало. Скуфел в зал, перестал ходить, на нос побрился. Сидит, чилит. Не знаю. Ну, на лысо на самом деле удобно. Я брился 1 раз на лысо. В макушку, правда, дует с непривычки. Но, типа, никаких... Не надо там длинный волос смыть, с ними что-то придолится. Блин, красивый цвет, пиздец. Смотрите, как хороший. Просто ахуй. Я просто ахуй. Милиция, народное ополчение, полиция, государственный орган. А почему тогда в Советском Союзе была милиция? Даже когда ей государство... Ой, не сюда, сюда. Даже когда государство не отвечало. Комиссары тоже народные были. Ну, хотя да. Так, у меня есть dry color. Народное милиция, не государство. Ну так у тебя же государство это народ. Типа ты... У тебя же диктатура пролетариата, то есть твоя личная, посчитай. Я, блять. Ну, типа, в этом случае государство и народ это, наверное, одно. Слишком много вопросов. Извините, сори. Пардоньте. Pat, thank you for the patron numerous. Thank you. Let me a little bit more dry. Sigmar it. So this one is a little bit hard to apply because it's dry. Literally dry. So I will just put it a little bit on top. Hello, Catalyst99. Hello, welcome to the stream. Hello. We are switching all the paints today. See how beautiful is it? See how cool. See? I can now figure out what my paints are. Maybe also this one. I maybe need to add it over here. It has a little bit different. The texture is a little bit different. But I don't know how this works. Maybe it needs to go to this. Голубая топ, вот это? Или вот это? Не знаю, у меня синих красок почти нет. У меня только вот это, потому что я хотела ей... Я посмотрела, короче, какой-то видос на ютубе, мне тикток подкинуло, типа... Первое? Вот это? И вот это? Типа вот это серое? Серое. Вот это черное. Вот это синее, по-моему. Да, это синее. Где-то еще у меня была какая-то синяя, кажется. Новые минки космогномы? А почему там... эти... Лава? Блин, мне кажется, это какая-то беспонтовая в сороковнике есть куча каких-то беспонтовых фракций, типа, я не знаю, Ильдары какие-то беспонтовые. Вотаны какие-то беспонтовые. Не парились? Блин. Там сейчас прям анонс? Или как там? Гослинги. Гляну, что там. Так, давай. Там вроде было написано 7 PM по Англии. Сейчас что? А, ну да, 8 как раз. Реакт подрубить? Блять, ну давайте. Не знаю, я просто дворф не очень люблю, они какие-то... Сейчас я надену эти хуёвенькие. И включу. Нет, со стола убрать. Жака? А у них какой канал? Типа Warhammer на ютубе или что? Браузер как-то вывести на экран. А я могу его рестримить же? Меня не рисуют? В Телеграме? Ага, сейчас гляну, спасибо. Так, сейчас уберу, чтобы мне не мешало под рукой. Чипи-чипи-чапа-чап. Давайте реактить. Так, VTuber. Сейчас я выключу. Это? Свет выключу, чтобы я не мешала. Так, сейчас надо еще подлую музыку, где она тут. VTUBER Warhammer. О, nice. Так, надеюсь, сейчас не будет у меня тут 2 часа рекламы. Да, у меня будет 2 часа рекламы. Так, 720 рублей. Ой, нет, мне не нужен браузер. Так, слушайте рекламу. Listen to the advertisement пока.
Uses an additional CU unit, so he is the combined intelligence of multiple Ironkin, essentially, and he uses that to enormous effect in terms of strategy and tactics on the battlefield, directing the efforts of the kin around him. It keys into a rule as well, which is known as yield points, which we'll talk a little bit more about later, and most importantly, he looks amazing.
It's a very, very cool miniature, isn't it? Really characterful. I think also got some spare arms on the front there, which is holding on to his little data.
Can I hear that?
Tapping away on there, giving orders to all the various kin and Leagues of Votan units across the battlefield. And his main pair of arms he's used to sort of hold in his contemplative states, which is the exact pose that I have when I'm considering my movement phase.
Так, смотрю. Ну, вроде нож надо подрезать чуть-чуть.
The array he's
got
on his
сейчас
back is called a cognitar mantle, and that's where he gets like his extra brain power from. Really sensational. Speaking of Ironkin, these are a new unit of Ironkin. They are called the Steeljacks. 2 types of metal in one name. Eddie, what's the story?
Yeah, so this is the Ironkin Steeljacks. They are a specialist kind of more warrior type of Ironkin. A lot of the Ironkin are fairly sort of helpful. They're kind of default
normal civilian roles in society.
Default state is sort of, friendly, affable helpers for the Leagues of Votan for the kin. These are a much more warlike programming, so they march out actively into battle seeking conflict. They are in very large suits of armor, so they stand kind of almost twice the height of a kin or a League of Votan warrior, and they have got some pretty decent weaponry as well. You can kit them out in a variety of different ways. You can either go combat leaning. This is an example there, where you can have like concussion fists and bolt guns, or you can go with a ranged option. In game terms, they work a little bit like Wraithguard, I suppose, is the closest approximate. So very durable unit, quite powerful weaponry, very good for doing things like moving on to an objective and trying to hold on to it, and fighting off enemy counterattacks, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, in real terms, heavily armed, heavily armored, extremely dangerous unit. You can see the leader in the squad. As you
I thought there were like advertisements or something with
there we go in the background. He's got a plasma sword. Guy on the front's got a concussion fist. Great new addition to the Leagues of Votan army. I think it's fair to say. We're not done. Yeah. There's more. The Chthonian Earthshaker channels some really strong energy from that sort of rogue trader era. Do you remember Mole Mortars?
Very well, yes.
So these are sort of inverse artillery in that rather than lobbing a shot high above the enemy, they fire those mole shells that you can see down at the bottom.
Can you see my mouse with this?
They burrow in on the enemy and emerge in a trench line, in a bunker, and just blow everyone to kingdom come.
Each one of these is a really lovely sort of dire armor in their own right as well. So you can see the kin there working with the Iron Kin, loading up the artillery. You can see one of them there with his little scanner, almost directing the mole as it kind of buries underground towards the enemy fortifications. Obviously, it's a powerful piece in game. You've got all sorts of nice kind of ways that this will bolster your Leagues of Votan force, which at the moment maybe doesn't have a huge amount of very long range artillery. And yeah, I think it's a great kit, really.
Awesome. Speaking of the bigger models that are inside this launch, we have the Capricus. The Capricus is one of those kits that makes 2 things. You can see here the Capricus Defender. We'll show you the Capricus Carrier in a minute. Essentially, it is either a sort of attack vehicle for the Hernkin, or it's a transport vehicle. They've got so this is the carrier. So it's a smaller gun. It's got less other weapons on it, and you can see the stowage bag for the crew that will ride in the back. Whichever you take, essentially this is enabling your Hernkin to get around from A to B and hold the ground that they're taking.
Yeah, so it adds a bit of a mobility into your Leagues of Votan force.
Я не могу сделать себя погромче.
Carries 5 models, so it works a little bit like the other kind of Leagues of Votan transports where you pick one of your units, it can split into 2 groups of 5. 5 of them can ride around in one of these. If you've got 2 of the transports, you can obviously ride them around in 2 of the transports. And as you say, Adam, you can choose between either having the transport option or you can just have all the guns and have a fast-moving fire support unit.
Capricus Carrier.
This is what made me march off to Warhammer World yesterday and buy the Handcam.
There's some really lovely little touches on this. The stowage bags are really nice at the back. I like that you can build this with 2 Ironkin as well. So if you want an Ironkin pilot and an Ironkin gunner, you can build them like that. Fans of Ironkin generally, there is a lot of Ironkin in this Leagues of Votan release.
Absolutely so. There's also a new combat patrol for the Leagues of Votan on the way. We're all familiar with combat patrols if we're familiar with Warhammer 40,000. If you're new, let me explain what they do. It's a fantastic way to start an army. Or to bolster an army if you've already got one. This one really focuses on those sort of kin bands that make up the mainstay of the force. In the background, the Hearth Guard in the middle. It's just wonderful ingredients to
Я не знаю, какой у них лор.
Yeah, there's some really useful units in there as well. Like, you don't tend to see a League of Votan army that doesn't have all of those units.
Yeah, there's no wastage there.
So it's all good stuff. A couple of boxes of these and then a couple of the new units.
Вообще-то Warhammer все спидил из StarCraft.
Now, on to, for many people's opinion, I expect the main event of this release. This is Bury Egnisson. Eddie?
So Bury Egnisson is the last survivor of a Leagues of Votan clan which has been consumed by the encroaching Tyranid menace. He is known as the Thrice Devoured. A Tyranid monster has actually eaten this guy, but that wasn't enough to keep him down. He clawed his way out of its gullet, climbed his way back out to safety 3 times, apparently, and now goes across the galaxy, across the kin warbands as a roving Tyranid killing specialist.
Yeah, absolutely. He's in terms of specialist, he is an absolutely elite combat unit. He's equipped with that Darkstar glaive, which you see there, which is called Bane. He's pure violence in melee form.
I think you're going to get a lot of this guy in armies because his rules are very good. He's got a great combat stat line, but he's also a lone operative. So you can imagine this guy advancing either on his own or alongside, kind of behind your forces, and swooping in on the big enemy monsters and stuff.
Блин, меня так рофло, когда у меня, короче, чел на лошади наездник, и там написано, что типа у вас челик может дамажить, еще лошадь может. Типа у него написано билка, что-то хус и зубы. И там прям подсвечено, какие, где лошади зубы, где копыта. Спасибо за информацию.
Other leagues to stop the same thing happening to them, and you see that played out on his model. He's got this sort of belt buckle, which very much looks like he's sort of taken some affectations from the Tyranids. He's got what looks like we've been having quite a discussion about this Tyranid Prime sort of cadaver.
I think it's a Tyranid Prime that he's got over the top of his head. Yeah. There's a nice little nod in this model as well to the idea at some point that the squats were eaten by the Tyranids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it Carl from the hit game
they were eaten by the Tyranids, but also they clawed their way out again.
Carl.
So there is a little bit of truth to that.
All the comments on that.
That outdated understanding maybe of what happened to that faction.
Fantastic. And all this obviously will be supported with Codex Leagues of Votan, an all new Codex for Warhammer 40,000, which contains, I've had quite a while to read this week. It's just full of spankingly good lore. It's got great rules and art.
Lore? What did you say?
Explains all of the new things, obviously. In terms of the rules, there's too much to go into in any real detail here. But a thing to cover would be those yield points, which is the sort of army-wide mechanic.
Rock and stone. Yeah.
So yield points effectively changes the way your army works over the course of the game.
У него в модельке на глазу, на голове какая-то
на
полбашки как
acquisition effectively. So early on in the game, when you haven't got very many yield points, you're getting bonuses for attacking enemy units on objectives for the most part across your army. And then later on, once you've acquired yield points, you get bonuses for having your own units on objectives. So you get better at defending them, better bonuses for their own defense, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so it encourages you to play in that very sort of acquisition-focused way that the Leagues of Votan work.
And it's a really great mechanic, right? Because it's exactly how you win games of Warhammer 40,000. Yeah. Early on, you kick people off objectives. Later on, you hold on to the objectives.
And some of the new units that we've shown and some of the units that already exist in the Votan army now have rules that key into that. For example, the Memnir strategist.
Bro, just show me the miniatures. I want to look at the cool miniatures.
Your yield score by 1 each turn.
I don't play dwarves.
Really sort of.
Wait, the челик. This is the guys from the promo video.
Sort of tactical function of your army. You can just go nudge and help you out.
Yeah.
We should show some of the models.
Let's do it. Yeah.
So we've got some in front of us. We're very lucky to be allowed to put our paws on the heavy metal miniatures. So there'll be a bit of sort of scale comparison here, but here you can see this is the Arcanist, and then you've got the Memnir.
Banana for scale.
They're like normal Votan sized, so any kin is about the same sort of proportion as those. And here you can see just how sort of much bigger.
Why are these guys longer?
Steeljacks are. I think your comparison that you made to compare them to Wraithguard is really quite fair.
Yeah, they're about the same size as a Wraithguard. It's kind of in that ballpark of kind of medium heavy infantry. This is the new artillery piece. It's maybe not like as big as something like an Imperial Guard tank or something like that, but
not big as tank.
Compact, mobile, that sort of thing, fitting in with the aesthetic of the rest of the Leagues of Votan. You can sort of imagine it starting life as a piece of mining equipment, and they've sort of evolved it into a weapon.
You can definitely see sort of some of those origins. I just want to draw some attention to some of the super cool bits on it. This guy here, you can see over his shoulder, he's got like a data slate. You've got this
data slate.
I don't know, like loading hatch.
Роботы, типа, они сделали себе боевые тела с длинными ножками.
Case which has more of the shells. You get spare shells to put on their own bases. It's just a really thoughtfully designed and very exciting kit. So we should show more though, because this is by no means the end of it.
Absolutely, we've got the Capricus here. So just make some space on the table so we can have a look at this guy. So this is your new vehicle. This is the Defender pattern, which is the gun version. And as you can see there's a little bit of space, not quite enough space for transport on this one, but there is one which is a transport vehicle. But I really like the Ironkin on this.
Bro, мы уже видели. We have seen this one, dude.
They wouldn't fit a full-sized kin in there, so they've given them a little tiny Ironkin, actually perfectly designed for the role.
И в формате коллективного создания предков.
I guess the star of the show himself in many ways.
He is.
Aegnir
So the thrice devoured there. So he's still kind of kin-sized, but you can have a look on this model here that so much of him is now bionic, right? So he's been chewed up and
fingers that do it.
Yeah, chewed up and spat out so many times that like his bits of his arms, most of his face, perhaps a kind of unspecified amount of his body has probably been dissolved by horribly turgid bioacid in their stomach and things. But he's still kicking, and it also shows how durable the kin are, right? So they're specially designed by their Votan to be durable, to endure kind of the most hostile conditions, and he's a good example of how that's kind of manifested.
10 числа предлагали какой-то.
So I think we've covered the league pretty thoroughly, right?
Yeah.
Before we move on, we're going to go to the old world next.
Мне прислали какой-то ключ 10 числа.
We're going to return to the 41st millennium at the end of the preview.
А я не видела.
Particularly if you like Kill Team, but also there's some other things for other factions as well. Do hang around if you like Warhammer 40,000. The other thing I would say is that lots of the people who mentioned that they were joining us from around the world, you can interact with our social teams. We have sort of international social teams that manage our
В понедельник будет стрим, мне ключ дали на предострой.
Here they are. If you want to sort of get involved in the conversation in the language which suits you, go knock yourself out. They're really lovely people. They're really engaged and want to
буровая установка снаряда под землей.
Гигадрил.
Я недавно узнала, что метро копают не гигадрилом, а какой-то круглой просто хуйней, каким-то блином. Я так расстроилась, это просто жесть. Я думала, там гигадрил.
So, first up, we have brand new units for the Tomb Kings of Khemri. This is a new multi-part plastic kit that makes the Royal Heralds. The easiest way to describe these is that you have a battle standard bearer and you have a hero / lord. You could make that and call it a tomb prince, or it's up to you. You get
в текущих коробках у них эти скелеты какие-то жирные. Они, видимо, когда металлические модельки делали, то вот они с тех пор остались.
Skeleton Warriors or Tomb Guard, then go for the on-foot version. There's some options in terms of head things as well.
Я на них смотрела,
are key to Warhammer armies. If you play the old world,
но не стала.
Yeah, I love this battle standard. That kind of weird scorpion.
Ну да, но просто они до этого переиспользовали просто старую модельку, потому что боялись, что не окупится. Сейчас наконец нормально их сделали.
You can mix them in. I would imagine there's a fair bit of customizability between this kit and some of the other.
Я потому их не купил, потому что толстый скелет, я не знаю, как профиль.
Also, I think things like the Tomb Guard, for example. So this isn't the only new plastic kit coming for the Tomb Kings of Khemri. We also have the Leech Priests, who are fundamental to the workings, literally, of the Tomb Kings.
Yeah, you absolutely need Lich Priests in your army if you've got a Tomb Kings army. Your army only woke up because you had Lich Priests. It's their job to kind of keep the magic flowing that keeps your army marching forward. Again, this is a multi-part kit. There's some lovely options.
На сайте есть Horus рекламит пиздец.
Perhaps a little bit less dead than some of the other.
A little bit less dead.
Definitely desiccated. Definitely spent far too long in the desert inside a pyramid somewhere. I love the vulture on the top of the staff.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for bringing that back. It's a really lovely image of these sort of animated creatures that have sort of come alive through the magic of the rituals.
I think you were saying as well, that looks like it's right out of a piece of Warhammer art.
Yeah, the mounted guy in particular, I think, they're both exquisite, but the mounted guy, from sort of the perfect angle, he just looks like the artwork. That's the highest possible compliment.
Осовские, у меня у осовских отвалилась уже рука у одного, у второго, и, короче, у лошади, я не могу вам показать, но, короче, там лошадь тоже держится на одной палочке, она тоже отвалилась. От кисточки просто.
I guess we can talk about that now. If we go across to also coming out is a new arcane journal, The War of Cetra.
Я на игре скелет беру в руки, а у меня какая-то из двух частей состоит такая, типа, что?
His lands have been defiled. He feels like he owns everything, and he is launching a full-scale invasion northward into the sort of border region between the Empire.
Блин, арты крутые такие, а модельки интересные.
It's also inhabited by some dwarfs. And you've got sort of dispossessed barons and nobles.
Но на самом деле в АОСе, по-моему, упростили правила. И стало лучше. Не так душно.
There are rules for sort of allied forces, playing smaller games.
Может быть, это интересно, когда ты уже там 200 лет играешь, тебя уже ничего не вставляет. Но если чисто
explaining the things that took place in this particular part of the Warhammer timeline.
Yeah. It's great to get
some the
old world as well. I think
absolutely.
The team diving into the opportunities that the world allows them to have.
And see what I mean about the artwork, right? Sort of the guy in the center, like it just in this piece, it really just screams the imagery that we saw before. I love it. There's another arcane journal coming, which is equally exciting. Just happens at the other side, quite literally, of the region in the old world known as the old world. This is Dawn of the Storm Dragon, and it features a bold strategic move made by Miao Ying, who's the lady pictured in the center. She's one of the children of the Dragon Emperor. And she learns of the Chaos Invasion, which is happening in the north, and is concerned that it's going to gain too much traction. So loads ships full of Grand Cathayan soldiers and sails to the Empire, sets up an enclave, and helps to try and stymie this Chaos Invasion. In real terms, that's A, a cool story, and B, there's rules in there for all sorts of things, including the opportunity to have an allied force of Grand Cathay and the Empire of Man.
That's exciting. That's exciting. We've never had anything like that before, really, have we? So
yeah, so I think this is sort of a great example of the really sort of bold and exciting things that the studio team responsible for the old world are doing. They clearly love the setting. They want to explore it in really rich.
Ну типа там не душно.
Sounds great.
Если ты готов это играть.
Absolutely. So. We should throw over to Question Corner and see if Simon's got any questions for us.
What have you got for us, Simon?
I'm recording the webcam while they are.
I think the majority of them are focusing on the Leagues of Votan. There's loads of fun new toys.
This dude is the same that I have. The same. So this is my dude, but mine is red.
Obviously, we've got the yield rules.
Сама концепция АОСа, ну в смысле у тебя есть Warcraft и Starcraft. То же самое.
It's always good when we get a question which is like, can you tell me the really granular rules things? Because the answer is no. We got 90 minutes to rail through as much stuff as we can, as fast as we can. We'll cover way more detail about Votan rules
рядом с моим этим
things as we lead towards it. But you're in for some subtle changes in the way the Leagues of Votan work, and it's quite exciting.
Cool. We've got another one, which were the funky drill shell tokens on the Chthonian Earthshaker. What do they represent?
So I do have a really short
ну вот у них, короче, огонь. Сейчас, наверное, чёрфов объявят.
Designed for you to have two of those.
Я не знаю, что там. Я не слушал, что Чел сказал.
Sue me, internet, if I get it wrong. You put them down alongside the Earthshaker when you deploy, and you can remove one from the game to give yourself rerolls on wound rolls as you're playing. So, yeah, kind of fun. It's like it
quality is so shitty.
Yeah, so the unit is sort of set up so that they have some specialist shells, so that'd be like representing the unit being like, right, we're going to use one of the big ones. This is the important shot.
Perfect.
Мне кажется, он сейчас укажет назад и сделает так, типа.
One more, so let's go with how many models can the Capricus carrier transport?
Долго еще в кухню играть будешь? Да.
So it works a little bit like some of the other Leagues of Votan
Огнем Хаос, ну да, там
where
типа,
you take a
у них,
unit
видишь,
of
вот эта вот
usually
лава?
contends, you split the unit in half, so 5 of them can go in that.
Типа,
If
мне
you've got 2
кажется,
of the
лава
transports,
только
you can carry both the
у
units
Чоуз
round in
Дворфов
those, or you can leave
и
5 of them back on your
у
baseline
Хорна.
and deploy them elsewhere.
Больше никого не
Nice
помню.
one. Thank you. So we'll draw a curtain on the old world, but we will go to the mortal realms instead. There's some exciting things for us to talk about here. And let's start with a new battle tome for Death, the Death Grand Alliance. These are the Flesh Eater Courts. Many of you will be familiar with them. These are the like foul and abominable.
I started to collect these ones, but their skeletons are very thinner than my current ones.
Being noble,
and they have a kind of zombies, and I didn't like zombies, so I stopped.
And the truth couldn't be sort of further from that.
Yeah, they absolutely imagine that they are in service to some grand king on perhaps a grand crusade of some sort, or part of a pageant, or a noble king of some sort, but are in fact horrible degenerate cannibals.
Часть армии скелеты крутые, а часть какие-то вот зомби, типа как на картинке.
Lots of new ways to use your army, new magic abilities, new enhancements, changes to some of the way the war scrolls work, so lots of exciting stuff. And perhaps most excitingly, there is a new miniature on the way to accompany them, which is the High Falconer Felgrim. So much like the rest of the Flesh Eater Courts, this guy is under an illusion. His particular delusion is that he is a falconer in charge of noble and wise avian creatures, where in fact he is in charge of a swarm of rabid bats.
Rabid bats?
The model is very characterful. Like he's got his kind of weird, crazy hat. He's got
you can
kind
see
of
almost like the vestiges of that nobility that you were just referring to, right? He's got like a very sort of like huntsman-y style hat on and the tattered robes of a person that might be performing that duty. But he's also got guts hanging off.
It's a very fun miniature.
Надо, кстати, доделать чубинов еще. Ну, не доделать, поделать еще немножко. У меня начал заканчиваться лак на них. Не лак, этот грунт.
Something in the game where he sends one of his falcons off
to
spy an enemy unit, and that can give you bonuses in games basically. So these are the kind of spies, the eyes and ears of the Flesh Eater Courts. And if he direct it to an enemy unit, it can give your squires, your kind of ghouls, bonuses.
Не что-нибудь, а эту мышь конкретно.
Take away their ward save and get better at killing them, basically. So a very useful unit to have in your game, and a very characterful model for your army.
Nice. There's also accompanying this release for the
Flesh Eater Courts. Уродские, что это такое?
You can use it straight in games of Spearhead.
Там уже один Spearhead уродский, теперь второй.
Or maybe you can use this to bulk out your existing Flesh Eater
Никогда не соберу вампиров.
This is a fast-moving, hard-hitting, infantry-focused.
Ну что вот это вот такое? Что это?
It's got models that you'll be very familiar with, and the way that they synergize within this game, within Spearhead, is really fun. Expect sort of lightning assaults, and then using monstrous-sized infantry to sweep the enemy away.
Yeah, also a great start to a larger Age of Sigmar army for Flesh Eater Courts. It combos really nicely with the existing Flesh Eater Courts Spearhead. So if you've got that already, you can add this in, and you've basically got most of an army. Some really good stuff. A couple of the Cannibal Monkeys.
Warcry, the one game that's won awards. Where is it?
Who doesn't love that?
There's another battle tome for the sort of Death faction, which is the Nighthaunt. We have Death Battle Tome Nighthaunt. They're a very popular, iconic faction within the Mortal Realms. They sort of had their place within the second edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and they've really sort of cemented their spot as sort of beloved. This book is like ram-packed with the lore that explains them all, as well as all of the war scrolls and information that you would need. I was talking to an avid Nighthaunt player about this yesterday, who was super excited because he's sort of in the know enough to know, for example, that their ward saves are improving across the board, and so he's very excited to try those in games.
Yeah, there's some significant defensive buffs for the Nighthaunt, certainly, with this battle tome.
У меня вот эти вот
the units have a bit more health. The way that their immunity to rend works has changed a little bit. So generally their normal saves are a little bit worse, but you can now bolster them with things like all-out defense. And their ward saves are across the board a 5-up or better, which is pretty solid.
Yeah, perfect.
Ward saves are 5.
But let's get on to the model, which is brand new, coming out with this release, which is the Lord Vitriolic.
Новую книгу, они бесплатно вроде доступны.
In life, it was something like a poisoner.
Я, короче, скачала, распечатала себе одни правила, а потом сегодня увидела, что там еще какие-то... К этим правилам есть 2 страницы апдейта, и надо ее, короче, приклеить к ним, типа. Потому что распечатать еще.
Reformed him into this horrific Lord Vitriolic with like backward jointed arms on top of his spine.
Второй пираты. Ну, покрасить. Мы красили крышечки чисто.
Yeah, so he's got
Там был не
some
особо
very
покрас, мы
fun rules.
чисто
So basically you can see his rack
шлепали
of
краску по
potions on his
кругу.
back there. And the way that manifests in game is
Сейчас
you
смотрим
can
анонсы
create
новые.
specialist potions and throw them at enemy units. And you've got two options on how you do that. You can either just chuck a bunch of random potions at the enemy and roll some random things to see what happens to them, or you can concoct a very specific potion to do a specific job. And the effects of those can range from things like doing harm to the enemy unit, taking away some of their advantages, all the way through to things like stripping ward saves from enemy units. So
that one looks
it's a really good little problem-solving unit. So you can go, right, what enemy am I facing? What I'd really like is this specific bonus or this specific
Potion seller. I require your strongest potions.
So I think we're going to see a lot of this guy in Nighthaunt armies.
Absolutely. And as with the Flesh Eater Courts, there is a new spearhead for the Nighthaunt. This is the Cursed Shackle Horde. It's just all the ghosts all the time, right? An absolutely brilliant box loaded with everything you want to either kickstart an army, reinforce an army, or play games of Spearhead.
Я просто в ахуе.
It's very cool. And obviously a great place to start a new Nighthaunt army.
Yeah, absolutely.
Что теперь делать мне?
Those things were cool.
Я надеюсь,
But
что он
there's
его
a
не
lot of
заменит.
people here who have been holding onto their hats really patiently.
Новые анонсы Warhammer
hoping
смотрим.
that we
watchalong.
maybe, you know, show them something they've never ever seen before.
Но 0 этих миник пересекаются с тем, что есть у меня. Hi Andrew, hello. Pirates. So in the preview they showed a lot of hats. Ну да, вот они. Ну, мне, кстати, ничего. The Approach Girl. А ноги будут у него?
What an incredible reveal. Eddie, I know you're super excited.
I am very excited. This might be...
Like, what an incredible reveal of 3 seconds.
These are the Hellsmiths of Hashut. These are effectively the reincarnation of the Chaos Dwarf concept for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, an entirely redesigned and brand new army, coming out first in an army set, arriving alongside its new battle tome. The army set also serves as the spearhead force for the Hellsmiths of Hashut. These models are phenomenally cool. The rules are great. The lore is great. I love absolutely everything about them. Let's dive into the miniatures.
I think the first thing I want to say is let's talk about like why they are these. When the time of chaos happened,
Блин, они лучше сделали прикольного чела, который на коляске
they retreated. They survived in their holds, or they took to the skies, or whatever.
But not these guys.
But not so the Zardron, the Chaos Duardin, who would become known as the Hellsmiths of Hashut. They instead turned to Hashut, an ancient and terrible Duardin deity who taught them the ways of hellsmithing. So, and their whole culture is based around Hashut, the Bullfather. And we're going to see that sort of writ large across all of these models. Let's dive into the first thing that appears in this new army set.
Стоп, я думал,
Hashut это этот чел. Cohort with Hashutite spears. Say that fast if you can. They are the
Я сыграл 2 катки, всех запаровозила и больше не играл.
They are an elite combat unit straight off the bat. These are very dangerous Duardin indeed. And the first thing to observe is those Hashutite spears. Each of them has got like a glowing orb in it.
Internal cohort with Hashutite spears. Здорово, смотрим анонс новых миник.
Demon essence, because that's how they roll.
So the demon legions that invaded the various Duardin holds during the Age of Chaos, some of them took over the holds, but where the Hellsmiths of Hashut dwelled, they instead trapped those demon legions and decided to weaponize them into a fuel to power their war machines, their weapons, and their technology. So that green glow, as you say, is ground up demon juice that is powering the weapons of the Hellsmiths.
Блин, я думала,
it's so cool.
Там было что-то Disciplines of Hashut, но я что-то думала, что это какой-то из них. Я уже не помню.
You see, you've got a musician, which is like this weird combination of the bare-chested Duardin and a Hobgrot carrying a massive gong on its back, and obviously a standard bearer. It's a twofer kit. That's like internalism for this kit makes 2 different types of unit. And so here you have them with Hashutite blades, basically shorter ways of killing people.
So we have a dude with the banner with a sword.
Both very useful. The spears generally are your slightly more defensive
spear.
things.
This is a spear. It does look like a spear to me.
Cavalry.
This
the sword is a slightly more offensive option where you get bonuses for fighting into enemy infantry and taking the fight to the enemy. But both effectively heavily armored elite infantry.
Yeah, absolutely so. And you can paint them in different colours. The studio team's done a lovely job. The banner in the middle just is a really interesting nod to sort of the Zardron culture, which is that's a ziggurat in the middle of that banner, right, with the Bullfather's rune above. They live in ziggurat cities, and each one is ruled by a war despot, as if by magic.
Не знаю про плащи горла.
You plan the whole thing.
This is my favourite model within this.
It's a great hat.
It might be my favourite of the Hellsmiths. It's just so good. Huge hat, great big spikes. He's carrying an enormous
my favorite one, huge
glowing. The runes at the top glowing with this sort of eldritch power. The war despots, they have to rule through a mixture of violence and also through just ensuring that everybody around them knows that they are the nastiest, toughest of all of the Hellsmiths. So they are dominant figures.
Yeah, like any Duardin, they couldn't demand the loyalty of their followers unless they were able to lead from the front, basically. So they're not cowardly, but they certainly are diabolical schemers, sort of thing. So they will lead their armies into battle proudly, but certainly not go for a fair.
Блин, я всегда думала, что эти модельки фотошопят.
As an entire culture is
like
weaponized greed. They
звон в ушах, у тебя может быть какой-нибудь гайморит, у тебя типа нос забит и что-нибудь там опуханником дураса.
Because that's how they survived the time of chaos.
Бывает
иногда еще из-за гайморита башка кружится, потому что там что-то в ухе жмет из-за этого.
It's an interesting sub-point. They see themselves as almost the paragons of purest order, right? So they've taken the assault of chaos and they've ground it down and created like order from chaos. But in the mortal realms, they're paving over the natural order and putting up the monuments and their great ziggurats that power their industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Also within this spearhead is just this incredible centerpiece.
Dominator engine with immolation cannons.
That makes two things. So here you can see the immolation cannons. This is a enormous metal creation which is animated and powered by this demon energy roiling inside it. Have a look at the sort of brazier in its belly. You can see the demonic eyes peering out as like the demonic souls within a torch.
I love the flames on these things. That kind of like green into purple fire is such a beautiful sort of aesthetic. This is both an incredibly cool miniature, which I think I'm looking forward to see what painters do with this.
Надо было подождать потом картинки посмотреть.
Once this goes out into the wild and you're
going to see incredible interpretation.
Yeah, 1,000 painters painted this. It's going to be amazing. I can imagine this in beautiful non-metallics. In game, this thing is an absolute juggernaut, right? So it has
beautiful non-metallics by your paints, by the way.
Age of Sigmar is almost unheard of. It has loads of runes. It's really hard. The combat version can mulch entire units. The shooting version is what you want to wade into the middle of an enemy army and just set the whole thing on fire.
С ним драмка это была, я не
Like a
помню.
lot of the stuff in
Это было
the
перед тем, как
Hellsmiths
они после них
army
выпустили
mechanic
жидкое DLC,
allows you
и
to
Sega после этого всех разогнала.
a demon power on
Дропы не
specific
знаю, я
units,
уже
so you can
начала.
bolster the power of it. And on these, it's particularly devastating.
Челики пиздят долго что-то.
And we're still not done. Also within the spearhead, you'll find this. This is the Tormentor Bombard. The Chaos Dwarf of old, if you cast your mind back, if you're old enough like me, to the world that was, the Chaos Dwarfs were renowned for devastating artillery, particularly that lobbed things far across the battlefield.
Там есть что-то про Хашута, но...
Concept has been reimagined for the mortal realms.
Я не помню, какие
Just
конкретно
beautiful
юниты.
Tormentor Bombard, raw demonic power hurled high into the air to come crashing down upon the enemy. It's deadly in the game.
Yeah, this is the war machine you use if you're being advanced on by multiple enemy units. So you can fire at a single enemy unit and the units nearby also take damage. That's how devastating this is. Very long range. I think it shoots 30 inches, which again is very good in Age of Sigmar. I think the Hellsmiths of Hashut, between this and some of their other units, have claimed to being one of the most devastating shooting armies in the mortal realms.
Well, let's talk a bit more about that because I think we have the Death Shrieker rocket battery. Brilliant for just like blowing up the enemy's big impressive things, right?
Yeah, so this is a monster killer,
у них же
right?
эти
So where
рабы,
your other
точно,
war
я
machine
забыл
is the
про
thing
них.
to take out blocks of enemy
Точно
infantry and kind of massed formations. This is your. They have one big monster that I want to be dead. You can fire this at them.
Я уже забыл про них.
And this, with a fair, with decent rolls, will take out a monster in a single volley.
You're firing essentially a demon energy imbued bolt the size of 2 Duardin.
Блин, когда они подсвечены сбоку, они прикольно выглядят.
This launch set also includes a battle tome. It also includes all of the war scroll cards that you would want to have with your collection. It's the perfect jumping on point for an all-new.
Хотя да, у них два, у них тут желтый свет и вот здесь зеленый свет.
But that's not it.
But that's not it.
There's more.
Why don't we show you some more?
Есть? Фига. Hellsmiths of Hashut.
If the launch box wasn't awesome enough, they will be followed shortly thereafter with all of those incredible models that you just saw, rounding out the force into a really substantial and impressive Warhammer Age of Sigmar army.
Yeah, immediately out of the gate, you have almost a full army offer, basically, of stuff. And we start off with one of the classic units of Warhammer returning. Bull Centaurs have been part of Warhammer for, I think, almost 35 years, something like that.
I remember being charged by these when I was like 13 or
in the classic red with green bases back it was in the day. But this is a heavy cavalry unit. They are basically the experts at riding down enemy forces and crushing them under their hooves. They hit very hard. They're well armored. These are the sort of manifestation of the power of Hashut in kind of form. The Duardin here have kind of warped to be more alike to their ancient ancestor god.
Yeah, absolutely. You said a thing to me earlier that I thought was really striking, which is Hashut's whole thing is like trampling the mortal realms underfoot, right? He's the Duardin gods sort of inherited a different realm, and he gets stuck with the realm.
So there's loads of really great lore in the new battle tome, and one of the things that comes out is the idea that there were the ancestor gods of the Duardin, and Hashut was almost like one of them, right? He was like one of the pantheon, and he was given the realm of beasts, and he sort of felt that was almost like an insult, right? Like, I don't want the realm of beasts. So rather than trying to kind of be harmonious with it, he decided to just trample it flat. So all of his incarnation.
I don't know, they dedicated super duper short section to the Nighthawks, the one I was interested in,
nature.
and I didn't get it. Will it be the replacement spearhead or a parallel spearhead? Because it's a totally different one from the one I own currently.
The Hellsmiths. They guard his holy
places. Like 4 units in that one, and they're completely different.
Hashut might look like.
Yeah, that was a little bit lost.
Than the
Anointed Sentinels, another horses.
Although by no means a passive.
They're the same set.
They're just really great at counterpunching. And when you
or
consider how much
they have leather
might be standing back
pants.
And raining death on the enemy, very useful in their own right. You also get like a little interesting nod to that Hashutite culture. Sort of breathed into it through these.
Yeah, I love those miniatures. They might be my favourite in the range, those particular sculpts.
They also
people in chat are hyping
Blood
Bowl.
That
really?
we're used to from before, as does the next unit. It says seamlessly segueing in. We'll see. So here's some variations, but we have the Infernal Razors now.
Infernal Razors with blunderbuss.
Are long enough in the beard, you might remember Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses from yesteryear.
The absolute terror of Warhammer Fantasy.
Is this the right one? Is it a woman or is it just a young one?
Diabolical.
Has no beard.
And these are
I'm confused.
A very dangerous shooting unit in their own right. Again, they're harnessing that sort of demonic power to operate their weapons. There's no gunpowder necessary.
Totally confused.
And the kit makes 2 options. So you have those, and you have the flame hurlers, which. I mean,
so they have different guns.
Particularly required.
Yeah, 2 really powerful units. The blunderbusses.
This looks like a woman to me.
Not much to choose between them, really. They both do a great job. The blunderbusses have got a little bit more range on them. The flame hurlers can fire while you're in combat, which is really handy. So even if the enemy manages to reach you, you can still sort of set them on fire. But the thing that really makes them is that through the army rule mechanic, you can power them up. And power up the demonic energy inside their guns, which basically increases the rend on the guns. You can get these things up to rend 3, doing multiple damage, which is absolutely horrific. So if the enemy is like charging your big unit of Infernal Razors, and you get like a decent round of shooting against it, you can wipe out things like heavy cavalry and whole units of armored infantry and stuff like that.
В Old World скелетом что-то добавили 2 юнита.
Everything we've shown you really is quite elite and high value.
Get ready for the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah, exactly. But what if you want some chaff to hurl under the the wheels of the enemy, so to speak? Good news. There is a genial relationship between the Hellsmiths of Hashut and the Hobgrots, who sort of bolster their ranks. Hobgrots are also really into doing awful things and desecrating the world. And so they exist as
Блин,
like
they're like identical. They're like two sprues of them.
In exchange for better weapons than they could like forage for themselves, they get to join the army and whack stuff.
I get they're like two sprues of 5 or meters or so.
They are faster than the Hellsmiths and they can scout.
That's lazy.
Absolutely can. So the way these guys are going to fit into your army, most of your force is going to be very good at shooting, but relatively slow. So you're going to be moving on to the objectives late game, but these can scout, as you say, so you can kind of push them forward early in the game, grab those objectives, just get under the feet of enemy units. They will absolutely be used for things like trying to take a charge from something so you can set all your other units up for an amazing round of shooting, or to charge them with bull centaurs or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you will absolutely want some of these in your force. We've obviously seen Hobgrots before in the kind of Boys force, but these are armoured and equipped by the Hellsmiths themselves. So they've got slightly better armor.
None of that sort of eldritch power in the weapons, though, not for these guys.
Oh, no, they don't get to play with any of the cool demon stuff.
So let's look at some of the extra sort of heroes that join the faction. This is the Demon Smith. They are the ones who do the hellsmithing, I suppose it's fair to say. You can see in this model there's some real sort of hints as to who he is. Obviously a wizard. He's got that demonic power sort of coming out of his hand. He's got his tome, looks like it's sort of etched in. I don't know what stone that is.
Челы сказали,
что
типа это какие-то юниты, которые у них помнят из детства.
I think his lectern is animated. In a nutshell, they are
какие-то старые.
Whoever painted that in the heavy metal team, well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
It's just stunning. They fill a particular function because they're the ones that enable all of the sort of the hellsmithing.
Yeah, they allow the kind of army to work. In game terms, they do a particularly useful thing, as well as being a wizard, which is obviously great. They can heal your war machines as well. So if you've got any of those big infernal engines, or you've got any of your cannons that have been damaged, they can kind of go over and put the power back into them, sort of thing.
Yeah. This kit has another option in it. It also makes an Ashen Elder. We showed you the anointed centaurs, who are the ones who guard the holy sites. This is the person doing the rituals inside the holy sites. And you can see that petrification has started to happen to his skin. The older a hellsmith gets,
У него вот здесь какая-то мазня, вот здесь какая-то мазня.
Become like stone. Their skin cracks. If they're very powerful, they have the right magics available.
You can hold it at bay a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. But doom is upon them. There's a couple of really interesting things. I like his staff. I'm just going to eulogize about how beautiful it is that the smoke makes it look like a beard. But you had a fascinating fact about the hammer.
Yeah, so there's lots of things that are really fun about this miniature. But if we go for hammer particularly, there's not a lot of hammers in the Hellsmiths of Hashut. And one of the reasons is that hammers are actually seen as a slightly profane symbol to the Hellsmiths because they remind them of the other dwarven ancestor gods, which really like hammers. But this particular hammer is blessed in the blood of other Duardin priests. So he would have like found a runesmith or something, or one of the Karajan priests or something, and then slain them in a sacrifice and blessed the hammer in that blood. So that's why he's the one with the hammer when no other Hellsmiths.
So if you're a Fire Slayer player, a Kharadron Overlord
they hate this guy.
Like, pick on this guy the most, right?
The Kharadrons and the Fire Slayers really do not get on with the Hellsmiths. Like there is a lot. They've got beef, basically.
Yeah, absolutely so.
Вот тут прикольно, у него типа.
There's also another character we should talk about. This is Ratar. He's the first demon smith. Back in that ancient time when the Hellsmiths needed to learn to survive, he learned the secrets of
Я бы предположила, что он такого же размера, как у меня на компе.
He is truly ancient and abominably powerful.
Потому что он реально
маленький. You can see how
маленький.
that manifests his the petrification on the back, like deep trenches of like rock starting to form out of his flesh, horns erupting from his skull. He's mounted on an enormous infernal. My brain is blank. Infernal Taurus, just centerpiece written all over him. Incredible spot within the lore. Wonderful.
Yeah, very, very cool miniature. It's a 2-for-1 kit as well, which is really cool. It also makes your Demon Smith on Infernal Taurus. There's a bunch of options on this kit as well, which is amazing. So, I can't wait to see what painters do with this kit. Just asking for a beautiful color scheme. You can imagine this in like beautiful non-metallics or metallics or glowing runes or kind of petrified rock or something else. But again, that kind of manifestation of Hashut as never deciding to use the natural materials, right? It's always going to be industrial in some way, or made out of iron or metal or stone or something like that.
And the only wood on the base is like burnt
to cinder. Yeah,
so
you can imagine him walking through a forest of just like that.
Yeah, should we take a look at some of the models in the flesh? We've got them here in the room with us, and we can give you some sort of a sense of
a little lineup.
So here is my personal favourite. You have the War Despot. You can see he's a very chunky looking Duard, and if I stick this Infernal Razor next to him, you get a sense of...
Они такие огромные на превью и бейши, а потом они показывают такую, типа, пальчиком трогают.
Like bigger in stature, more powerful. Moving along, you have the Demon Smith and the Ashen Elder. Teeny tiny little Hobgrot on the end of the line. Really quite sort of scrawny, just perfect for, you know, subverting to your will and getting through your day work.
Just for kind of scale purposes, that's the same size, more or less, as the Hobgrots that currently exist in the Cool Boys range. To get an idea of the size. Much larger. We have the Bull Centaur there, so you can see that the power of Hashut sort of coursing through that guy. This is a fairly large cavalry miniature there. It's like on a scale with some of the kind of...
Завтра, не знаю, будет нет, в понедельник будет стрим Гордостроя нового. Мне ключ дали.
To say the least. But not as big as, terrible segue, here we go. Just...
Even beefier.
Absolutely.
Их сложно красить. Они хорошо выглядят на расстоянии руки.
I think you can have a few of these in your army as well. There's a few different options for kind of heads and things, so I certainly expect to see a few of these making their way.
Мы делали такой гонстер на стриме.
Yeah, let's get one of those in. Right, so...
До Неску с пивом так не дошло пока.
So if I squeeze some of these guys
we'll run out of space. There's too much stuff in this release. It doesn't all fit on the table.
I don't think anybody will be complaining. There we go. So you can see the two war machines.
Again, these have got like really lovely little dioramas on the back. So you've got multiple characters sort of with different roles across the artillery piece, like
absolutely
funneling the demonic power into the engine or stoking the furnace and that sort of thing. A little bit like the Leagues of Votan artillery we saw before. These are just like wonderful.
У них, кстати, базы
but let's bring in Electar, shall we?
Серые. Типа не земляные, не деревянные, как обычно.
So, I mean, this is
серый тип камень.
Powers above even the Dominator engine.
There we go.
Ну да, он сразу с руку мужика.
Just exceptional. There'll be loads more pictures of this on warhammercommunity.com. And you can see it all in more detail. There's probably some bits and pieces of information that we left out. We need to move on.
Yeah, we need to get...
Right.
That's very cool.
Before I do, one more thing. I'm aware that lots of people in the chat might be keen to know about Warcry and whether or not Warcry is relevant here. The Warhammer Studio team are going to publish rules for using Hellsmiths of Hashut for Warcry when they release. Yep. So keep your eyes peeled on the Warhammer community website. There'll be a free download that lets you try out some of the Hellsmith models in Warcry in your games.
Yeah, so not only will there be a full new army for Warhammer,
no Warcry announcement.
It will also feature as an entire new faction in Warcry as well.
Yeah,
and also...
Yes, it would be nice if we segued seamlessly into the Warhammer Underworlds. So welcome to Spikewood. This is an expansion for Warhammer Underworlds. It's... the scene is essentially you're in the Spikewood. You have a Hellsmiths of Hashut warband fighting against the Kenothi. So it really is industry versus nature.
Yeah, there's a strong rivalry in the Mortal Realms between the Hellsmiths, who are all about, like, as we say, trampling nature underfoot, and the Sylvaneth, who are all about protecting nature, and the Kenothi are a particularly kind of warlike aspect of that, following the kind of absent hunter god Kurnoth. So they will defend the wild places of the Mortal Realms.
Yeah, so here you can see the two warbands. So this is an expansion, as we say, for Emberguard. And you have the Hellsmiths, you have the Kenothi. The Blood of the Bull is the Hellsmiths unit. Bottom left-hand corner, you have army advancing into the Spikewood has suffered a strategic reversal, so she's regrouped with her sort of remaining warriors, her inner circle.
She? Is that a woman?
And she's waiting on reinforcements before she can raise the place to the ground, so she finds herself contesting it, obviously, against...
Dwarven woman has no beard.
Yeah. You've got some great archetypes.
Bro, you're joking.
Well. I particularly like the Hobgrot.
He deserves a call out, doesn't he?
He does, because if you've been playing Warhammer for a very long time, you may remember hobgoblins from Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and there was a unit called Throat Cutters, I think it was, or Throat Slitters. He is basically a homage to those.
It's really lovely.
It's really lovely to see.
Yeah, they've got their rules.
Они специально рассказывают, что типа это не просто какой-то хуй, а что это отсылочка, кто не понял.
Sort of mentality. The other warband in this set is, he says, well, there we go. Kernos Herald. There's 3 of them in the kit.
Миленькие.
They make these.
Если бы эльфа отрезать сверху,
thing to
было бы
point out
заебись.
with them in terms of like their rules and how they play is that they're very defensive.
I mean, but this feels like lo-fi Warhammer lore to listen to study to sleep.
Stuff, they want to protect their woods. And so while they're in their own area of the board, if you're an
they're just
sort of mechanic,
telling some kind of random piece of information on the
It's quite an interesting warband then because they're quite a fast warband, and usually you expect that to be quite aggressive, but your bonuses are for defensive play.
Yeah, so
Masters, follow the channel. Thank you.
In your own area.
Welcome to the stream.
I love these miniatures. I think we've seen Kernothi in Underworlds before.
Why do they have something instead of their belly button?
I think this is a phenomenally cool looking warband.
I looked at them too long and I'm really disturbed by their gemstones glowing in their belly
You don't like the glowing belly buttons?
Something about it, man.
I dig it. I'm here for glowing belly buttons.
So there we go.
The dude also is not covered with this.
Stuff also for Warhammer Underworlds. What an awesome set of releases for Warhammer Age of Sigmar.
And 10 years of Warhammer
That's
Age of Sigmar
a really fair point.
10 years? Just 10?
10 years ago this month, we saw the arrival of the Mortal Realms, the birth of Warhammer
2025.
We're going to be
2015, really?
showing over the coming year a whole bunch of
самое Warhammer Fantasy. Это обычно, ну, типа там фэнтези, а не космос.
Warcraft and StarCraft. But then they are only movement 4.
Raph has respectively reminded
Ну,
us
конкретно вот это
5 more
какой-то
things to
скнов.
talk about, and we're already getting the move along sign. There are 4 more boxes coming for Warhammer Underworlds. Each box contains 4 warbands. Each box also synergizes with a particular
Там миллион
faction. So
каких-то
this is the Order
карточек,
one,
блядь,
the
надо их
Secret and
читать
Shadow.
что-то.
It contains 4 warbands.
Я не хочу читать, я хочу
from the
бегать,
Order faction,
я хочу
from
бегать и
Alliance, I should
стрелять.
say. This is the Death one.
А не миллион карточек
These are the Reavers of Ruin, the Chaos warbands. And we've saved my favourite to last because I'm allowed to. The Gits and Goliath, the Destruction warbands. Each, anybody who plays Warhammer Underworlds will know each Warhammer Underworlds warband is lovely, right? They're just characterful and they home into a different part of the Mortal Realm setting. And you get 4 in a box. It's delightful. To play with them, you would need to pick up this, which is the Warband.
Там есть крутые юниты, там есть хаос, они похожи на космических.
Warhammer Underworlds, seamlessly integrating them with their War Scroll cards into Warhammer Age of Sigmar, or just having some different hobby experiences. There's 16 opportunities in 4 boxes.
Every one of those boxes is all killer, no filler. There are some beautiful miniatures in there, including the crab, the Ideneth crab.
Я тоже не умею бегать.
So, I think we actually are at the end of the Warhammer.
We are now at the end of the Mortal Realms.
It would be a good time to check in on Question Corner and see if there are, in fact, any questions.
Yeah, there's loads. People are very, very excited to hear about the Hellsmiths joining Warcry. That'd be really cool.
Fantastic. We're really pleased because we want them to be able to play with them and enjoy them.
Yeah, and of course the range is stunning, so people are super pumped about that. So there's a bit of confusion about the Grand Alliance that they come from. So presumably they come from the Chaos Grand Alliance. And if so, how do they fit in with
What's his accent?
Yeah, I can take that one. So the Hellsmiths of Hashut have a slightly interesting relationship with several factions in the Mortal Realms. They are definitely in the Chaos Grand Alliance. So despite what they themselves believe, they probably are corrupted by Chaos.
You don't get to play with that much demon power.
No, I mean you have tusks growing out of your face and horns growing out, and
you're turning to stone.
Yeah, I mean something's got a little bit demonic there. But they would consider themselves as kind of champions of order, but they are in the Chaos Grand Alliance. They also trade with the various forces of chaos, so perhaps chaos warlords and things would go to their be served with like weapons that they forged in exchange for the bounty that is collected across the realms. They also have a kind of symbiotic relationship with the Hobgrots, and have traded with like the Cruel Boys and things like that. But they are Chaos Grand Alliance.
So how does Hashut fit in with the Chaos Pantheon? Does
really
become one?
Really badly.
It does not play well with others as a recurring theme, really.
So he is part of the pantheon of the Dwarden gods, right? But he feels ostracized. They understandably want to ostracize him. So the Hellsmiths kind of vilely resent the other Dwarden gods. It's a very fractious relationship, which is why there's such vitriol between them. Great questions. Thank you very much. We need to go to our next setting, which we will do by moving to the timeline of the Horus Heresy.
Let's do it.
So there are a multitude of great releases coming if you play Legions Imperialis. It's all tanks. So if you're a treadhead, settle in and we'll take you on a tour. Several boxes of fantastic plastic kits.
Ну типа в
really interesting additions
Dawn of War они могут всех
the Whirlwind and Scorpius set. It's 8
Question why you hate Nighthound, yes.
And so if you want to just rain death on the enemy, blow them out of their cover, this really is a wonderful way to do it.
Блять, я только распечатала себе все эти правила по новой.
As is the Vindicator Siege Tank Squadron. Essentially, what's the biggest gun you can stick on a Rhino? Oh, it appears to be a gun with a breech big enough to stuff a whole
I want an even bigger gun though, Adam. I want a bigger gun.
You want to do a heavier siege?
I want a heavier siege gun than that.
Well, I've got some very good news
for you. Oh, that's it.
You.
That's exactly it.
The Type On Heavy Siege Tank Squadron is on the way. It's even bigger and more dangerous than the Vindicator.
Ну, не, ну, в смысле, мне придется просто новое правило распечатать. Я уже почти всех покрасила. Типа они все уже в базовый цвета покрашены, надо их облизать, чтобы они ровненькие были. Издалека они все худо-бедно горят. Там надо детальки всякие нарисовать.
If you want to blow things up from further away, maybe there's a Titan Squadron that offends you, then you could do a lot worse than the Cerberus Heavy Tank Destroyer Squadron.
Что это за кирпичи?
These are firing turbo lasers. That guy is offering you a fist bump. It is a wonderful time to be driving tanks over the enemy.
Some debate in the office as to whether it's a heavy tank destroyer or a heavy tank destroyer.
Yeah, exactly. We've had some debate.
Let us know in the chat which one you think it is.
Do you think it's a heavy tank for destroying or a tank for destroying heavy things?
А что он не по кругу крутится там?
The heaviest of all of the tanks.
Что-то такое, у него курятник спереди.
Super heavy is the Mastodon Assault Transport. What if you want to just pack Space Marines into a tank, drive it across the battlefield, open your gates and charge into an enemy stronghold, having leveled the walls with a melter array, then this is the way for you to do so. It's even got its own anti-aircraft system on the top, and the pilot of that is offering you a crisp fist bump as well. I imagine he gets on great with the other guy.
It's sort of
да, но просто там есть
equivalent of a siege tower.
I love it. The design on this, we've seen this at like standard Warhammer 40,000 scale. It's beautiful. It's still beautiful at small scale. It's just little.
А что у него спереди, это ракетница или что?
Those kits, like loads and loads of tanks of Treasure Joyce. All of the rules for those, in fact, all of the rules for all of the units in Legions Imperialis can be found in Liber Strategia. Essentially, a thing that combines all the rules and puts them in one place.
Там чел сидит, ну я не знаю, минки не в масштабе обычно, они как бог там положит.
Rules content. There's too much to go into here and now, but have a look in the article that's going to be on Warhammer Community, and we'll talk more about it closer to the launch. What if you really like the letters A through F, and you want to mark objectives and or token effects? We're releasing a really useful set of token markers for you to use in your games. I find these sort of things very useful for reminding me what effects are going on in the game. And then there's all the formation and data sheets for your Legions Imperialis games. The team responsible for this setting have really just done a cracking job of making sure that like the rules are accessible, you can get hold of them. It's a really fun time. I'm very impressed.
Yeah, kind of compiled a lot of stuff together into a much more convenient way of approaching it.
I've got a good friend who's super into it, and he was asking me about like you know how he gets all of his rules together, and I just had to sit there quietly knowing that this was around the corner.
Wouldn't that be great if they're all in one book?
Yeah, your prayers have been answered. There's more stuff set within the Age of Darkness. We teased these in the Saturnine preview, but we have the Mark II Assault Squad. So I think we showed one before, didn't we?
We did, yeah. I absolutely love these. So this is the new Mark II Assault Marines. Mark II is kind of one of the more brutal looking of the various different Space Marine armor marks. And these guys have ramped that up even further. You've got some options in this kit, a variety of different weapon options. The coolest of them is the Chain Axe, which is an optional free upgrade to the chainsword that comes normally with your Assault Marines.
Yeah, and so the kit's loaded with chain axes. It even has heavy chain axes.
Наверное, так что надо
все. Think of them as slightly slower than chain axes.
Не знаю, если веришь, что сейчас что-нибудь закончится.
Sorry, chainswords, but they have a more dangerous effect. Absolutely.
Да, у них похоже, у них поменьше вот этот вот jetpack.
Buy these, it's just a straight points, no points involved, just a straight kit swap. If you're dying to have that classic chainsword loadout.
Они, кстати, вот здесь вот фотошопят им краешек, а в жизни там пиздец мазня. Ладно, все буграми. Мне кажется, они чисто... Они как-то, наверное, на конвейер делают всю эту работу, типа там один чел красит огонь, один чел красит еще что-нибудь, и какой-нибудь стажер там чисто база будет.
And as you can see with the Salamander on the screen there as well, you can also equip them with combat shields. So loads of different things you can choose to mix them in with. I would imagine we're also going to see some of these
also
equipped, all the different AKA
kits. One of the lovely things about the
Horus Heresy is that so many of the kits are really interchangeable. with each other, so you can take bits and heads and arms
for
and weapons and stuff
every faction
and really
possible.
create it.
I really like the breastplate on these, that high gorget, looks fantastic. They're just fantastic looking models. Well done there. There's more coming as well. We previewed the Journal Tactical, which is available to order right now. In fact, all of Saturnine is available to order right now. There's a new Journal Tactical on the horizon. It's called the Forges of Saturn, and this is really all about Vulcan's gift to his brothers through the Saturnine project, and so it focuses very heavily on all of those suits of armor that we've seen.
Какой-то нытье про Китбашу.
There's loads of great new options in this book, particularly allowing you to do more stuff with your Saturnine miniatures. So there are different, basically, things that you can do to your Saturnine miniatures using other kits, mixing kits together to create new units. So this is a really great example. This is a Saturnine command squad, and what you've got here is a unit that's taken bits from the command squad sprues and also some spare bits from someone who's built a Saturnine Praetor with his axe. You get the hammer spare. You can now give it to characters in your Saturnine command squad and basically make them into a champion. The other option that you can have inside this is to make one of your Saturnine Terminators into a Saturnine Centurion. That's the Thousand Suns guy on the far left there. Saturnine Centurion means that you could now have like two tiers of Saturnine commander you can have in your army, and effectively unlocks the ability to have an entire Saturnine style army if you wanted to.
Yeah, one of the topics that's handled inside this Journal Tactica is the way the Legions embraced Saturnine armor. Obviously, to use it at all requires you to be at least to some extent psychically sensitive. That really plays into the hands of
Thousand Suns love it. It's my favorite.
But there's all sorts of things. Sort of get the rub in this. Enjoy, and we'll tell you more about it.
Чебурек снаружи, чебурек
there's some really interesting stuff about how the different legions have sort of embraced it. So the Thousand Suns have sort of used it as intended to some extent and kind of put all of their psychic pilots inside them. The Word Bearers immediately crammed it full of demons just to see what would happen. But all of the legions, to some extent, have recognized the lethality of Saturnine technology and find a place for it in their legions.
Perfect. Right. We're still not quite done in this sort of area of the timeline. I am super excited to be able to announce today on behalf of the Black Library that there is a new mega series on the way. This is The Scouring. This is book 1 called Ashes of the Imperium, and this kicks off a multi-book, multi-author mega series set in the ashes of the Imperium. It's a perfect title. The Horus Heresy is ended. The Emperor is mortally wounded and tried upon the Golden Throne. The War Master is dead. The forces the traitor legions are in full retreat. What happens next? So this series begins essentially at that premise. Here we have a very understandable confrontation between a battered and damaged Rogel Dawn and pristine with reinforcements. And as you can see, they're at loggerheads already. Black Library are super excited for us to be announcing this today because this is the culmination of a lot of work and effort between a really sort of carefully assembled cabal of writers and creatives that have been plotting out a multi-book series, which we're going to see play out over several years. I'm really, really excited by this.
I think you were saying to me earlier on that there's kind of like 3 core themes, aren't there, that's being explored through this.
So in a nutshell, and without spoiling anything for those of you who want to enjoy it, I promise you spoiler-free. There are 3 principal themes. Theme number 1 is what happens with the legions of Astartes, right? They've essentially caused all of this, or their brothers have. They've ruined the work of the Great Crusade. The Imperium is in tatters. What is the place for the Space Marine legions in the wake of this catastrophe? For the traitor legions, the second of these the War Master is dead. Their whole purpose for doing this has now failed. The Chaos Gods withdraw some of their power. So suddenly they thought they were onto a good thing, and now they're relatively alone and at sea. How do they survive? How do they regroup? The third group is, in my opinion, maybe the most compelling, which is what of humanity, right? They've just watched these demigods wage war across the Imperium, ruin everything, destroy the Emperor's great works. The Emperor is mortally wounded. How do they respond? How does humanity rally, and how does it perceive the place of the Space Marine legions that remain?
Absolutely. And I think worth saying as well, this is absolutely a self-contained series.
Oh, yeah.
If you have read all of the Horus Heresy from Horus Rising, all the way through the full novel series, and then gone through the Seeds of Terror, first of all, very well done. There's a lot of books to read, some great stories in there. But if you are new to the Horus Heresy and kind of the setting and the era, you can absolutely just jump in with Ashes of the Imperium and treat the Scouring as a series in its own right.
Yeah, I have to give a little bit of a shout out to Chris Wright as well, who is the author chosen for this first book. He is a true gangster of words. He's written some of the really fantastic Black Library novels. If you've never read a Chris Wright book and you just want to dip your toes in ahead of trying this, I could not recommend enough of Valdor, Birth of the Imperium. It sort of sits outside the rest of the sort of Horus Heresy.
The Heresy was all about friends they made along the way.
It's like top tier Black Library fiction and might be a fun way to sort of whet your appetite for more Chris Wright. As we approach the release of this, we're going to have a full-length interview with Chris talking about Ashes of the Imperium and all of the care and consideration that's gone into it and the narrative that unfolds. More on that on Warhammer Community as we have it.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I think
that was awesome. Cool. I really am super excited for it. We're not done yet.
We're not even close.
We promised that we would return to the grim darkness of the Dark Millennium, and we do now with 5 new Space Marine heroes for 5 of the first founding chapters.
Right, this is Vulcan Heston. So this is a model returning that has previously been in metal and resin and is now in plastic. Vulcan Heston is a famed hero of the Salamanders chapter, and his particular mission is to scour the galaxy looking for the relics left by his Primarch, the namesake, Vulcan. He wears some of those relics himself, so he is equipped with an artificer suit of armor. He is carrying a handheld heavy flamer and a blade of Vulcan that crackles with magma fire and is able to slice through enemy warriors. He's also walking through flames, just in case you weren't sure he was as cool as he can be. He's just walking through the fire there as well. He is probably the most iconic Salamanders character that exists in Warhammer 40,000, and it's great to see him in plastic. He has a couple of head options. You can have helmeted or unhelmeted.
Health and safety first.
Both of them look very, very cool indeed. He is only one of the 5 new Space Marine characters.
Next up, we have a very iconic and well-known hero returning in a new incarnation. Darnath Lysander, first captain of the first company, I probably should say.
Он как будто супер сутулый.
He's been remade in the sort of new Terminator armor style that we saw for the first time.
Yeah, the same scale as the ones in the recent Warhammer 40,000.
And he is a substantial man in that armor. He has an enormous storm shield. He's carrying that incredible looking thunder
might be
hammer.
the best storm shield in Warhammer. It's up there, isn't it?
Right up there, yeah. I think the Lion might argue with you, but we're talking top 3, right? Yeah, everything you'd expect from this iconic hero of the Imperial Fists chapter.
Nice to see a helmeted option in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Streaming for 5 minutes without painting.
You don't want to paint a face, and sometimes you just want to get on the battlefield nice and fast.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't yellow, I don't know, I might find it easy to paint the flesh, to be honest. He is not the only. There are 5 of them altogether. So next up, we have Canok Var, a new character for the Iron Hands chapter. This is the captain of the Averni clan.
Это тот, его анонсили, короче, у него был вот этот пипирус с точками, я видела.
In the same scale as the recent new Terminator kits. Some really lovely little features on here, really leaning into the kind of Iron Hands lore. You've got lots of nods towards his technological know-how and their kind of alliance with the Adeptus Mechanicus.
Yeah, he's got sort of servo skulls attached by data tethers, sort of kind of information. Look at the one on the bottom right-hand corner. He looks like he's projecting a Fortress of Redemption.
Yeah, he's got like a little holograph of perhaps a building that they're planning to besiege.
And I think my favourite thing on this model is actually the power mall.
Welcome to the club, buddy.
X-Man, спасибо за сап. Спасибо.
Practical, extremely brutal.
Спасибо большое, очень приятно.
Next up,
тебя есть
and I think for many people this will be the model which
анимированные смайлы.
The Raven Guard.
Спасибо за
chapter master.
Absolutely love this guy. So the new chapter master of the Raven Guard. And you might be saying, Eddie, they already have a chapter master. What happened to Shrike? Shrike has led the Raven Guard for some years, but his place is better in the shadows as the captain of Stealth Assault.
Скриликс, да.
To lead the Raven Guard as their figurehead and their commander, and the miniature is absolutely phenomenal. We very recently had Logan Grimnar released, I think only this last weekend, and this continues the tradition of having just an absolutely phenomenally cool looking chapter master miniature.
Yeah, he's redolent in sort of the imagery of the Raven Guard chapter that you'd expect to see. There's those sort of tassels that sort of dangle from him with the sort of secret runic script of deliverance. He's got feathers and fetishes.
Look at those
and
claws.
He's got 3 head options. Aethon Shan is a really just tremendous centerpiece model, and I think the Raven Guard fans out there are going to be delighted by what he presents. And there's one more. Subodhan Khan. He is the first captain of the White Scars chapter, so he leads its first company on this just mighty looking grav bike. It's got a Gatling cannon mounted into the front. He's just the perfect embodiment of that White Scars hero huntsman archetype.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. There's all sorts of beautiful Chigorian details on him there. You can see the kind of pattern on the front of the jet bike is very reminiscent of some of their Heresy era designs on their dreadnoughts and things like that. We've got the model with us in a second. We're going to have a kind of a look at it, but there's some beautiful detail on the back. He's got kind of Chigorian shields and sheaths and decapitated enemy heads and stuff like that. It's just the most White Scars looking thing you've ever seen.
White Scars.
It fits beautifully in an army if you've got lots of outriders and fast-moving stuff. It's been quite a long wait for the White Scars to have a character on a bike, and it's well worth it.
Had to walk, haven't they? So not anymore. Really beautiful. How do I get my hands on these? You say there's some questions to answer there.
Indeed, реально.
Listen carefully, I'll explain the one piece of nuance to this. Subodhan Khan is in the White Scars Combat Patrol. You see it here. It's 3 Outrider bikes, an Intercessor Assault Squad, a transport, and Subodhan Khan. He will be available separately not that long after the release of this Combat Patrol. He's the only one of these new heroes that comes inside a Combat Patrol. The others are available separately, but here are the Combat Patrols that come out with them. So you have an Imperial Fist Combat Patrol, just full of heavily armoured Imperial Fist troops. You've got Terminators and a command group, and it just looks wonderful. Next up, Iron Hands, heavy Intercessors, heavy weapons, everything you might expect from these tough, durable warriors of the Iron Hands chapter. The Raven Guard, a bit more
fast and Phobos.
Yeah, fast. That's good. I like that. That was strong. Yeah, they're going to get in amongst it much faster. Imagine Aethon Shan leading those; it'll be tremendous. But what if you just want to carry all the flames all the time? Yeah. Every model in this entire combat.
Блин, Рафан будет, если они на самом деле уменьши
одинаково.
Они разные мотоциклы вставляют.
I think there's some assault intercessors who maybe ruin my attempt at connecting it.
Ну типа вот эти вот слева, они стандартные.
Some new transfers in those kits as well. Adam, I know you were a very big fan of that when we were looking through.
Мне кажется, кроме лорда там все одни и те же.
Warhammer, I get really excited by transfer sheets. I can't do freehand to save my life, but I can stick a decal on with the best of them. Each of these will come with its own transfer sheet, which means that you can apply all the details of the heraldry and everything. And there's loads of cool extras on those. Case in point, the Imperial Fist one has some decals that do Crimson Fists. So if you were a fan of the Crimson Fists successors, then you can fill your boots. We'll show you those ahead of time. So
Блин, надо сделать генератор имен. Там Crimson Fists, Iron Fists, Dark Raven, Blood Raven.
These.
Yeah, I've got some of the miniatures right here. We've got some kind of classic stuff, so you can see the scale of them. And we've also got some of the new miniatures. So if we start off over here with the Raven
вот этот, который с мечом,
I brought along
вот этот, который сейчас чел держит, какой-то, мне кажется, супер обычный.
Assault Intercessor Sergeant. It's not a small model by any stretch of the imagination, but you sort of get a sense of how big the new chapter master of the Raven Guard is there. He's on a big base. He's going to be quite an intimidating character. It's certainly going to be the largest.
Они дефолт, но там обычно
standing not far off the height of a Redemptor Dreadnought.
Типа дрисный.
Yeah, what's interesting is
один юнит нормальный, один дрисный.
Sort of raise him up a little.
Типа у меня, например, из Spearhead там
he's not that much shorter than either of the two models you just mentioned. He really is very dominating. And then Subodhan Khan next to an Outrider. First of all, check out the sort of similarities between the stylings, the sort of the shape of the bike, very sort of reminiscent of the things you see on the Outrider. But if you spin it around, check out some of the details on the back.
Я прям уже вижу, как эта хуйня надломится вот там вот. Вот тут у него одна точка, и вторая, и он отломится и упадет.
There's also loads of space if you want to do some like Chigorian freehand or something like that. I think that's going to be up there with the Golden Demons and things, so that people choose
the
models.
It's exciting to see what people
really
do
nice.
with it. So there we are, Space Marine.
Surely that's all the Space Marine we have time for.
So you say that, but there is a little bit more Space Marine on the way. This one's really exciting for me because I got to help a little bit on the team that have brought this to life. I am over the moon to present the first ever officially licensed wearable Space Marine helmet. This is the Lieutenant Titus Mark 10 helmet made by JoyToy. If you've not heard of JoyToy, where have you been hiding? JoyToy make beautiful action figures under license from Games Workshop. They do Warhammer 40,000 ones, and they do Warhammer Age of Sigmar ones, and they do Warhammer the Horus Heresy ones, and now they have made
типа они просто из аэрографа его подтвердили и все.
It's just really something. And I can talk about some of its features. Inside, it's got an adjustable sort of headband, so you can change it to fit your head. What that means is that unless you've got the tiniest of heads, like a small child or a grot, you should be able to make it fit. I have the most preposterous, like, potato head imaginable.
I think I'm going to say what everyone is thinking, which is just put it on.
Yeah, I will. But before I do, so this is the prototype that we've been sort of working with them on. And before I do, I'm going to flip a switch because we're under very bright studio lights. But inside, can you see the illuminated a little bit? There's some really great pictures that you'll be able to see later. But I feel like a Space Marine already. This is just.
I feel like
I mean, it's never felt so good to feel like Lieutenant Titus. So the lenses inside illuminate. You can buy it with this lovely display stand as well. This is the Mark 10 helmet stand. It looks like something straight out of a battle barge or a Fortress Monastery cell where a Space Marine might put his war gear when he's finished on campaign. It's your choice whether you want to get the helmet separately or with that, but I've had this in my office for quite a while and it looks really cool. When can you get your hands on it, I guess is the question.
When can I get my hands on it, Adam?
I'm glad you asked. The answer is, when this preview show is done, the pre-orders begin. So you will be able to go to warhammermerch.com and pre-order it. So yeah, I'm just over the moon to see this in the flesh, in real world. Very, very exciting.
Когда к тебе девка в гости придет, чтобы она не видела
стыдобища. We need to go to Kill Team, to the Kill Team.
Что Kill Team? О, может, какая-то новая будет прикольно. Эти вроде бы, этих я уже видела. Девку в нем встречать? А, это новая карта, походу, бля. Или нет? Что-то не понял.
So, an amazing new box for Kill Team, a new expansion, 2 brand new Kill
Сет,
Teams,
может, новый, но минки, оттуда я видела точно в другом сете.
Let's take a look. This is Kill Team 2 World, and you get absolutely loads in this box.
It's just bursting with cool stuff, right?
This might be the best Kill Team box we've released.
It's way up there, and I struggle to argue.
It's up there. There's some beautiful stuff in here. I mean, if we talk about the battlefield first, you've got some absolutely amazing Necron scenery, in a little bit like the Into the Dark scenery we saw a little while back, and certainly allows you to play games in that same sort of style. Doesn't replace it necessarily, but allows you to play that kind of close confines, up-close battles. Really thematic. You've got undead Necron crypts as the warriors wake from their eons-long slumber. But the kill teams themselves are probably where the real excitement is. So if we start off with the Deathwatch kill team, this is the return of the original kill team. The name kill team itself comes from the concept of Deathwatch, and they have come out with an amazing new range of miniatures. There are 10 of these guys in the box. You can build them in a whole range of different ways, and there are some lovely features. Adam, have you got any favorites?
I'm all
about the big firepower, right? So, sort of bottom right, you have a Flesh Terrier holding a flag cannon. That's the best way to greet the Xenos, right? Yeah, you can't really go wrong. I called him out as a Flesh Terrier because I happen to know he is. One of the things that's really striking about this set is that there's loads of different heraldic devices available.
Some quite obscure chapters as well.
Yeah, I mean, so Flesh Terriers are perhaps not obscure, but they're not necessarily what you might expect. For example, top center, that's a member of the Wolf Spears, which is one of the 2 successors to the Space Wolves chapter. You've got an Ultramarine on the right-hand side. the crossed swords on the one bottom left, I think is probably making him a guardian of the Covenant.
I think you might be right.
And as a Dark Angels collector, that's quite exciting.
Там рофл, короче, в том,
where we tried to guess all the different chapters.
Что если ты покупаешь килл-тим на 5 человек, то это нихуя на 5 не человек. Тебе надо будет потом покупать еще вторую коробку для него. Я смотрела имперских агентов, там 5 штук, по-моему, членить тоже. Там сказано, ну вот, нормальная килл-тим команда составляет коробку имперских агентов, плюс там коробка еще кого-то и еще кого-то. Я что-то обалдела от такого.
And when you play kill team, the way that this any kill team works is that you have a roster
тебе надо выбрать 9 миник
and then you can choose the ones you want before
из набора, который
you get 10 models in this box to make your kill team. You've got loads of different options, and then you choose before each game. Your kill team in game will be 5 of those warriors, and you can pick any 5 you want.
5. Ну вот.
I mean, check it out with the underslung grenade launcher and all of the grenades.
Ну вот, короче, это не везде так.
It's great to see a mix of Gravis and Phobos and Tacticus as well. So that's a Gravis, effectively a heavy intercessor archetype, but he's even more upgunned than you might expect a normal heavy intercessor to be, which have already got quite big guns. In game terms, the Death Watch have got all sorts of specialist Xenos killing kit, but one of their things is effectively in each turning point you can choose one of them to use a special piece of ammunition, and you can basically pick a special rule for that gun to have, so you can be blast or precision or extra AP or something like that. So that a kind of quite long-standing concept of them having the ammunition to do exactly the job you need them to do makes its way into Kill Team, as well as them just being pretty good all-round Space Marines, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But they're not the only thing in the kit, although you might excuse our enthusiasm for thinking so. There's also the Canoptic Circle. These are the Necron guardians of this tomb complex. Essentially, their job has been to oversee the reanimation protocols of all of the Necrons that you see in these alcoves. We'll show you some more of the terrain in a bit. And so these are the sentinels that are ready to now sort of attack the infiltrator.
And they were good about their business, waking up all the Necrons, and all of a sudden this very rude kill team of Death Watch burst into their crypt and decided to start wrecking up the place. So they've had to mobilize against them. It is a very powerful kill team. This is the Canoptic Circle.
Они какие-то не
Geomancer, which is a type of cryptech. That's the model you can see there. She is the leader of the warband, and she definitely kind of is the core of the force, right? So
and she's big and powerful.
She's big and powerful. Yeah, she alone can take on a Space Marine, but the other troops in her force need her to kind of be at the center to kind of coordinate the efforts. You've got a few different other models in the mix there as well. As the Geomancer, you have remind me of the names of these.
The larger thing on the left-hand side with the guns on the top is the Tomb Crawler. Then sort of the right hand, and there's another one sort of central to the right-hand side. Then the smaller things, they are your reanimators or your warriors. So normally, day to day, they'd just be pooling around, making sure everything's safe and well. Some Necrons, but you know, when the Death Watch come knocking, they leap into action.
Yeah, the crawlers have got some particularly formidable weaponry, right? So like they're up against the Death Watch kill team. So
Geomancer face is blanked out from
SpongeBob. Can take out a Space Marine if they get a good solid round of firepower. They are one of the. You've got your kind of central character, which does all the kind of utility stuff. Then you've got 2 really good solid gun platforms, and then you've got the rest of the force which whizzes around and does the objective taking stuff. It's a really flexible little kill team. Also worth pointing out that the box has a bunch of Necron warriors. Why does it have a bunch of Necron warriors, you might ask? They're not in the kill team. Well, one of the other things that you get inside this box is rules for playing basically co-op missions where you both play as Death Watch and you're up against hordes, undying hordes of Necron warriors.
Joint operations is super fun, and the chance to do this as a Death Watch kill team, sort of stalking around a Necron, awakening Necron complex is almost too appealing to say no to.
And just a great other way of playing the game.
I'm going to totally jump on it. Have a look around this board, and you can see in some of those alcoves there are those reanimating Necrons and stuff.
Аж затрясло. Забыл проживать.
Masonry, you can imagine they've been asleep for so long that, you know, seismic events, whatever, of course, needs to fall down. Plus, and or maybe the Wolf Spear hitting everything with his hammer. Yeah, this is going to be just peak Warhammer adventures in a tomb complex. I love it.
And of course, both of these kill teams will be usable in Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
There'll be a way to use your Death Watch in that game as well, and your new Necrons. And of course, there is a new book, a new dossier that comes with this, which has all the rules you need to play these in your games of kill teams.
Yeah, let's have a look at some of them in the flesh. Oh, it comes in a box. There you go. Let's have a look at some of these in the flesh. In particular, it'd be good to get the Geomancer in because that gives a sense of the scale. So my favourite with the frag cannon, but when you put the Geomancer in here, square enough.
Блин, тоже хочу пельмени.
So there's some like narrative
волк на
around the
плече на всех
events
уровнях
here, which is quite
практически.
cool. We were having a read. So when we learned that the Geomancer
Any plans for a
was,
real
in fact,
event to
a
celebrate
lady.
10 years of average Sigmar?
If you haven't already twigged yet, this is a raptor. This guy. Check him out. So you get a nice bit of scale from obviously.
Блин, а у них так какой-то волк, орел. У них у каждого свой типа Фурис Фурсона.
Loads of stuff to feast on. This is going to be a very exciting time for KillTube. I think the Death Watch are very popular with lots of fans, and they're so iconic within the concept of Kill Team.
Yeah, I think wouldn't be an exaggeration to say the most requested Kill Team, since the concept of Kill Team was sort of re-emerged into the consciousness.
Absolutely. Right.
Я просто не знаю, что есть чаптер с орлом, типа.
We're around the 90-minute mark. I did say it would be a long one, but we've shown you all of our Warhammer previews.
Нет, я знаю, просто типа они конкретно в этом наборе сделали, чтобы каждая своя была.
Simon, there's probably a question or three, right?
There's quite a few. Yeah. Do you want some rapid fire ones to get you going?
Let's see what we can do.
We're within 12.
Okay, let's go. So start off with Old World. Are the new Tomb King minis resin or plastic?
They are plastic.
Multi-part plastic kit.
Let's go with the Kill Team Tomb World. Is the new Necron terrain similar in dimension to the Gallodark terrain?
It is similar. Yeah. I don't think it's exactly the same.
Yeah, Gallodark would be a good reference point.
So we've got Warhammer Underworlds. Will the new warbands or any of the re-released Grand Alliance warbands be receiving rules to use them in Warhammer Age of Sigmar?
I believe you can use all of them in Age of Sigmar, can't you? I don't want to... certainly...
Чё, так голова пострижена, только что постригся, походу, они прям ровненькие, как круглые.
One thing that is worth saying is that quite a lot of the new battle tomes have a place for the Warhammer Underworlds warbands as generic archetypes of that thing. So the Gloomspite kits, for example, you've got a place for the wolves.
I think that's a more comprehensive answer.
That's probably the place that you'll find them going forwards.
Типа левого чела слышно гораздо лучше, чем правого. Хотя они вроде сидят даже, правый даже ближе сидит.
So the Adeptus Astartes ones we've just seen. Does Subadin Khan have a helmeted option?
He does have a helmeted option.
Cool. Although I think any adherence to health and safety would be an absolute abomination when you're riding free in the wind.
You might be riding in a vacuum, at which point you're probably allowed.
Just hold your breath.
Just
yeah.
Okay, they've got reinforced skulls. I'm sure they'll be fine. So where can we expect to see the lore and rules for the shiny new characters?
That is a great question.
That's a good question.
So the rules will be available online.
So some of the rules, if the character is being re-released, already exist.
Yeah, that's true. So Darnath Lysander.
Yeah, Vulcan and Lysander are already there. The other rules will be available online.
And I'm really glad you asked about the lore, because I know a thing. Phil Kelly from the Warhammer 40,000 lore team came and had a chat with me, and they've written full background for each of these characters and narrative stories, which we'll be hosting on Warhammer Community in the week leading up to their release when that happens. I'm super excited. I don't know anything about Aethon Shan, and I want to learn his story. So yes,
that.
So we've got two more quick ones if we can. So the Horus Heresy Age of Darkness. Are some of the Wargate options that are currently no longer available to certain units ever going to be revisited?
Блять, бро, ты можешь
проживать,
проживать?
There'll be more things
нормально.
plastic across the course of this edition. With some of those plastic kits, you may see Wargear options returning that have previously been available. You might also see some Wargear options that have never existed before added to those units. So hopefully that answers some of the question.
Yeah, Grant. One last one was on the scouring. How many books can we expect to see in the series?
At least one, because it's got the number 1 on the side of it. I don't want to steal the thunder of any future sort of news from Black Library other than to announce it today. But what they have told us, it was one of the best conversations of my professional life ever, to sit down with the editing team from Black Library as they sort of poured the scouring lore into my open brain, was this is a multi-book, multi-author series, and so you're going to be following it for some years to come.
Grand.
Yeah.
Some years.
Well, there's bazillions more questions that I couldn't possibly get to. They're scrolling past so quick. It's all I could do to find the ones I got. But yeah, thanks.
That's great. So what remains, I guess, at this point in the juncture is, first of all, to thank all of you for tuning in and spending 90 minutes of brilliant Warhammer fun with us. I've really enjoyed myself.
I had a great time. I always have a great time.
Awesome. There's some
thank you,
general housekeeping to do.
They said thank you to me in your chat.
In this, and you want to know more, go to warhammercommunity.com. Read the articles that are there on the website. There's pictures. There's more information than Eddie and I would have remembered to tell you. And you can watch the videos back as well. If you are looking for more Warhammer excitement right now in your life, we're going to throw back to Tacoma, where there's Warhammer 40,000 tournament taking place, I believe, right now is what we're going back to. So you can hang around here, especially on the
Блин, imagine челики там играют в турик, а в это время какие-то анонсы происходят, они такие, блядь, не узнаю ничего. Все с их турика ушли, чтобы смотреть эту хуйню.
Sounds about right.
Brilliant. Right. Thank you, Simon, for asking questions.
Thank you, dudes,
thanks
for telling
to the
me.
crew here who've made it all
and
work.
my chat.
Eddie, it's been a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
We can't wait to see you again next time. Take care.
Thank you, guys. See you. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Thank you. Все, врубаем. Как вырубить? This one. Yeah. No roadmap, though. Все, харе. Переключаемся. Зо! So, thank you so much everyone who joined the stream today. Спасибо большое всем, кто пришел сегодня, кто посмотрел, как я крашу крышечки, а потом кто посмотрел с нами анонсы. Завтра не знаю, что будет. В понедельник точно будет стрим этой градостроя. Крышочка. Да, крыша ДПК. Спасибо за пад. В понедельник точно будет стрим градостроя. Мне еще про какой-то ключ написали на почту. Я посмотрю, что там, но я проебланил сообщение. Оно в спам у меня упало. Это было 10 числа. Больше, чем неделю назад. Вот. Надо спросить, что там. Hi, Sir Lime. Hello. Well, very cool. I hope you have it. Thank you. Appreciate that. The streams are by language. How to say, like, by bipolar. So I usually stream in both English and Russian. I just switch back and forth depending on the audience I have on the stream. Bilingual, yeah, thank you. Depending on the audience I have on the stream. So at this point, most of poppers here are Russian, so I almost completely switched to Russian, but overall I speak both. So yeah, thank you so much. I'm not sure if I will stream tomorrow. I will let you know in Discord. For sure on Monday. And I will check on that key that maybe something else. I don't know. I will take a look. Maybe Hearts of Iron, but I do not. So my DLC subscription expired. So I will think how it goes. What should I do about that? Maybe Total War. I don't know. So I will see. So usually we have a randomized choice between Total War, Hearts of Iron, and Fallout. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Was glad to see you on the stream. And then I don't want to raid anyone. And yeah, thank you and bye. Mwah. And in the stream on YouTube, bye bye.